from the case file of Lieutenant Joe Kenda. First, a staircase in a quiet suburban residence is the scene of a bizarre crime.
There is no visible blood on the staircase. Unless he managed to rise 3 feet in the air, turn over vertically, and land headfirst, he did not fall down the stairs.
The case is stuck in first gear until Kenda unearths a critical new lead.
Our witness sees somebody flee that house. He is the key to unraveling this mystery.
Police ask, why do you have this weapon? What he says points them in a totally different direction.
Then, Kenda must hunt down a killer on the loose inside a hospital.
It's ironic because hospitals are places people go to heal, not to die.
He's willing to take this horrible step to protect himself and cross the line to commit murder. Why would you even think there was any chance you could get away with it? Jealousy and possessiveness are very dangerous things. Some people allow emotion to overcome their judgment. And that's when someone like me shows up. There's one thing that never changes. Murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I'm Lieutenant Joe Kenda. I've solved nearly 400 homicides. Somebody has to take control. Somebody has to look out for the victim. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved.
It's an uneventful night on the graveyard shift for CSPD Officer Bradley Birch.
Officer Birch is on his regular routine shift that night.
But Birch's peace and quiet is about to be shattered.
Dispatch to 330.
Go for 330.
We have a report of shots fired at a residence on Bruno Circle.
330, 10-4 route.
As he approaches the location of the shooting, Officer Birch kills his lights and makes his way toward the house, weapon drawn.
There was nobody outside, and he only saw light coming from a basement window. He went over toward that area to see if he could see anything inside.
He looks into a window and can see that someone is lying in a pool of blood, and they're looking at him.
The officer's going to have to determine, is it safe to go in? Do I knock the door down? Do I wait for help? Once Birch sees the victim on the ground, his priority now is to get into the home. We don't need to warrant. We don't need to knock.
Help down here!
You, show me your hand! Back up!
At his home on Bluegill Drive, Lieutenant Joe Kenda tries to make productive use of another sleepless night.
When I was working cases, I had difficulty sleeping. I couldn't turn my mind off.
Miss Kenda.
At 1:30 in the morning, no one in your family calls to see how things are. It's the police department.
Okay, what's the house number?
They're telling me the person's been shot in the back of the head. His condition is critical and stable.
All right, I'm on the way.
I have just been awarded something new to agonize about.
Arriving at the house, Kenda begins to soak in his surroundings.
What I do notice in the garage door is up and there's a limousine parked in the garage. I thought that was unusual to see it in a private home.
How you doing? Good. What we got? We got one victim. He's already been transported to the hospital. He was still breathing, though.
The victim is William Henry McCarty. He's 27 years old. He has a gunshot wound in the center of the back of his head.
Billy was an auto detailer in Denver. I don't believe Billy had enemies. He loved to hang out with friends and have a good time. He was active in his own personal life, but family was number one to him.
So the victim lived with me? Yeah, he was living with the homeowner, Sang Vasquez, his girlfriend, Kim Ochoa, and her 3-year-old son. They're the ones who found him.
And where are they?
I'll take you to him.
Hey,
has awakened her 3-year-old child and is comforting him. Sang is also very upset. This is his friend. He's very concerned about him.
I understand that you and Willie used to work together.
Yeah, we did, but he hasn't been working in a while because he busted his hand at work.
Billy went through a rough patch. He had to have surgery on his left arm. He never worked again after that. And then Billy and his common-law wife separated. He was, bouncing around place to place.
He's kind of just been in a bad spot. So we figured he could come stay with us because I know he's been good at working at cars. And, I was trying to start my limo service.
After a couple weeks of living and working under the same roof, the two men decided to go into business together.
Sang said, I'll be the business mind, and Willie will be the one who takes care of the car, kind of a gearhead type guy.
Well, bro, I think we're good for the night then, huh? Always a pleasure, bro. Really appreciate you helping out.
So what happened tonight?
Well, yeah, we were working on the limo.
Sang decided it was time to go to bed, and Willie said in that case he was going to go out for bed and he'd be back.
I mean, we were in and out of sleep. And just heard the bang downstairs.
What was that?
I don't know.
Then there was silence, so he got up and went downstairs to investigate.
Wait, I'm coming with you.
Oh my God, Willie! Oh my God! Get up, dude.
They find Willie at the bottom of the stairs. They see blood on his head. They don't know what's happened to him.
Call 911. Willie, come on, dude.
They can't get him to respond to them in any way.
Come on, man. Get up.
Did you happen to see or hear anyone come or going?
No. Nobody.
Having talked to Sang now at some length, I have no reason to disbelieve anything he's told me. His emotional state of mind is what one would expect to discover when a friend has been seriously hurt.
Sang's girlfriend Kim reiterates his version of events.
He's a genuinely good person.
Yeah. Do you think he's gonna be okay?
It's hard to tell, but we hope so.
So now the next step, of course, is to move on to what the physical evidence tells us.
Did you see or hear anything unusual when you got here?
No, not really. Body lying on the floor here. Homeowners knelt down over the top of him.
This is a tri-level home. He is found at the base of the small staircase leading to the lowest level of the house.
Sang Vasquez said he thought he might have fallen down the stairs.
I'm not too sure about that.
There is no visible blood anywhere on the staircase, giving it short length unless he managed to rise 3 feet in the air and turn over vertically and land headfirst. He did not fall down the stairs.
For the cup.
Shell casing.
It's very important for the initial officers on scene to do everything they can to protect the crime scene. In this particular instance, there was a shell casing that was found, and in order to keep it from getting destroyed,
Caliber casing from a semi-automatic pistol.
we got a gunshot wound to the head, and we've got an empty casing in the same area. So common sense would tell us that that's probably the weapon we're looking for.
But that's not all.
The expanded casing indicates that the gun is fired also on that floor area at the base of the stairs. He was shot where he is found, at the base of the stair. That's important to know.
However, the position of the body raises another possibility. An intruder may have followed Willie into the home and instigated a deadly confrontation.
What if he comes in the door with Mr. Irate, whoever that is, and he just wants the guy to leave or go away?
Keep on bothering me, I'm gonna call the cops.
You owe me money.
You're tripping, you need to leave.
Maybe the shot is fired, the perpetrator runs out the front door before Sang comes down the steps. Could that work? Absolutely.
Do you want to come with me?
Since neither Sang nor his girlfriend Kim saw the shooter, Kenda decides to cast a wider net.
We know that if there is a perpetrator out there running loose, Maybe somebody in this neighborhood did see it.
All right, let's go start knocking on some doors. Remember, it's 3 a.m., so don't expect you welcome with open arms.
Yes, sir.
Given the hour of night, the odds of finding a witness aren't very good. People are asleep.
Hey, what?
Nobody saw anything.
Initially, it doesn't go well. All we've accomplished is annoying most of the neighbors by waking them up.
But just when it seems Kenda and his men have hit a dead end,
Hey, Lieutenant.
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
they make contact with a potential eyewitness.
I'm here with Mary Rodriguez and her daughter Nadine, who said she saw something suspicious. I think you probably need to come talk to her.
Tap, I'll be right there.
Nadine Rodriguez, she's 13 years old. She says that she saw something she thought was suspicious. Suspicious at this point in time is something I'm looking for. So we're investigating what seems to be a rather mysterious shooting in this private home where nobody sees, nobody hears, nobody knows. We've now gotten ourselves in the position of having a 13-year-old witness in a neighboring house who saw something she thought was suspicious.
And I looked out the window and I saw this guy come out of that house and go jump into his car and drive away really, really fast. And I just thought that was really suspicious.
Now, who is he? Is he our killer, fleeing the scene of what he's just done? He certainly could be.
Can you tell me what the guy looked like?
He was a white guy, maybe in his 20s. Oh, and he had long blonde hair.
How about the car he drove off in? Can you tell me about that?
It was a black truck, a pickup truck with a red stripe on it.
Now, that is awfully good. How many black pickup trucks with a red stripe have a long-haired blonde driver? Probably not that many.
Go ahead and put an APB out to all the units on that pickup truck and a description of the driver.
Yes, sir.
We have to find that person, see if they're involved. Could be the suspect, could be a witness. We don't know, but we have to find out who that person is. Well, thank you, Nadine. You've been very helpful. You might want to think about getting some now.
Yes, sir.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Go for Kenda.
Kenda receives an update on the status of his victim.
10-4. I just got a call. They pronounced the victim.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and notify the next account?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I sent a detective, calls me, he said, well, it's a homicide. They pronounced it. He has a fatal brain injury.
I got a call from an investigator saying that they were at my mother's house and that Billy was shot. I was shocked. I didn't know what to think.
With Willie's death now ruled a homicide, Kenda waits anxiously to see if the APB produces a hit on his suspected killer.
313 to Kenda.
Go for Kenda.
Sir, I'm standing here looking at a black truck with a red stripe.
Perfect. What's your location?
Within a few minutes of putting that APB out, I'm not surprised we get a hit. The officer says it's unoccupied, but it's only a few miles from our crime scene. And we head over to it right away.
The vehicle in question is parked in an otherwise empty lot.
Looks like a pretty good match to me.
Sure does. That's interesting. It's not even warm.
It certainly matches the description. The officer's correct in calling it into us. But nothing about it says it was just driven, because the hood is split, it is black with a red stripe, and it's been parked there for some time. The odds are it's probably not it, but we're still curious about it. So what are we going to do? We're going to find the right one, with a warm hood and maybe a warm body behind the wheel.
Looks like it's time to play alarm clock again. Let's go start waking some people up.
Yes, sir.
Headquarters, Lieutenant Kenda.
Go for Kenda.
But before Kenda can proceed with his plan to canvass the area, a call from the station suggests he should immediately change course.
Lieutenant, I got a
gentleman here, he walked into headquarters. He brought us the gun that he says was used in the shooting that occurred earlier this evening.
The guy reports that this gun came from the shooting on Bruno Circle, which is the shooting where our victim, Willie McCarty, died. And he believes that this is the murder weapon.
10-4, do you know how he got to the station?
Yes, sir, he drove here by himself.
Do you know what he was driving?
It is a black pickup truck.
Do you have any further description of the pickup truck?
Yes, sir, it had a red stripe running down the side.
So here's truck number 2, but this is the right truck. We've lost interest in our cold-hooded pickup truck. I'm going to go meet the warm body driving the warm pickup truck.
At CSPD's Operations Center, Kenda gets a look at the potential murder weapon.
How you doing?
Hey, Lieutenant, here's what I got for you.
She opens it up, and laying in this pile of pillow stuffing material is a .380 semi-automatic pistol.
That definitely matches the caliber of the bullet case we found at the crime scene. Where's the guy that brought it in?
He's actually in the back in one of the interrogation rooms waiting on you.
All interrogation rooms, just like in the movies, have a two-way mirror. I want to look at this guy before I talk to him to see what he's doing.
According to the desk manager, the man's name is Sean Manchester.
He's relatively calm, but he has long blonde hair, and he's in his 20s, and he's white. He is who Nadine saw leave that house. No question in my mind. The question is, what role did he play in our little scenario? That I don't know. But he does.
Well, the first thing I need to inform you that this is a homicide investigation. And considering you walked in here with what appears to be the murder weapon, are you comfortable talking to me without an attorney?
Yes, sir. I don't need anybody.
He is cooperative. He can't wait to tell me what he knows.
Did you tell me what happened to Willie last night?
I'm anticipating that he's going to confess to this crime. What he says next surprises me.
Well, I didn't kill Willie, but I think I might know who did.
It would be odd for him to have this gun and show up in a police station with it if he's not the shooter. But I'll take him at his word for now. I am... We're trying to determine what has happened to Willie McCarty and who might be responsible for it. All of a sudden, out of the sky drops the prime suspect in this event. He has a murder weapon in his possession, and we don't have to go to him. He comes to us.
Tell me what happened to Willie last night.
Well, last night I went over to Willie and Sang's place to help him work on a limo.
But when he got there, Sang and Willie were nowhere to be found.
So I said, okay, I'll just get to work by myself. Well, I've been working for a little while, and then from inside the house, I hear an argument start to escalate.
What are you doing?
All of a sudden, I hear a strange popping noise.
So he goes in the house to see what's happening. He sees Willie laying on the floor, sees some blood on his head.
He claimed that up until that moment, he really didn't realize that there'd been a shooting. That he thought maybe Willie had fallen down the stairs and banged his head or something.
I see Sang, and he has this box in his hands. I'm like, hey, what happened, man? He just hands me the box. He tells me to get out of here and drive.
Drive where? Drive. Drive.
Sean tells Kenda that shortly after he drove away, something fell out of the box onto the floor of his truck.
Oh my God.
Now he's putting two and two together in his own head. My God. Willie's been shot, and Sang must be the guy that shot him.
Well, I sure as hell don't want to be the accomplice to a murder, so I decided I'd bring the gun to you guys.
His story makes absolute perfect sense to me. I don't think he's involved in this, but I certainly know who is. Sang and Kim have been lying from the beginning. They know exactly what happened. They were hopeful they could get past this by continuing to lie. Because after all, the police will never figure this out. Oh yeah, we will. And then we're going to make you eat the lies you've been telling us. and we're going to hammer the last nails in your coffin of guilt with those very same lines.
I appreciate you coming in and helping out.
Yes.
All right, we need to get Sang and his girlfriend Kim in here. I want to talk to the girlfriend first.
You never go directly to a suspect, you go to those close to him first. You circle the suspect, and you recover information from those loosely connected.
I'm going to cut right to the chase, so give us the gun.
She knows what's happened here.
Kim tells Kenda that ever since Willie moved in with her and Sang, her boyfriend has grown increasingly jealous.
He thinks I've been sleeping with Willie. I haven't. I was in the upstairs bedroom and Willie came to use the bathroom for like a second. Sang saw him coming down the hall and freaked out.
Get the hell out of here, Willie! Admit it, you're him.
Sang, what are you doing? She grabbed the gun and just ran off. I went to go check on my son. All I heard was just them yelling downstairs.
Kim says she hears that argument get louder and more involved. Then she hears a popping sound.
I ran downstairs. That's when I saw them.
She starts to cry, and we end the interview at that point. Now it's going to be Sang's turn.
Have a seat.
How you doing, Sang?
I told you, I have no idea what happened to Willie.
Cut the crap, Sang. We already know what happened.
I don't even own a gun.
We talked to Sean Manchester. He told us everything.
Then he just stops dead in his tracks and stares at us.
I'll tell you everything that happened, Willie. If I could just have a cigarette before, please.
Sure.
There are certain things you can always do with a suspect. Show him some kindness. Give him the impression that maybe you're not such a bad guy after all. And he just may tell you his entire story.
So we were in the garage, working on the limo, and Willie said he had to go to the bathroom. But when I went inside, I saw him walking from the bedroom where Kim was.
Night, Kim.
What the?
This absolutely sets him off.
You piece of... What were you doing in there?
Window not screwing Kim. What are you talking about? You're talking crazy.
He is emotionally out of control about this. When you're emotionally out of control about anything, you become dangerous.
Willie, you gotta leave. Get the hell out of here. You were screwing him, weren't you?
He was just using the bathroom.
Sang is not even listening to her. Sang is so distressed that Willie's not responding to his demand that he threatens him with the gun.
Out! Willie, leave!
Get out of here.
Get out of here, Willie, get out! I don't know what happened. Okay, my finger wasn't even on the trigger. We were scuffling. He might have grabbed my hand.
Sang says, maybe I hit my elbow on the wall. Maybe he hit my hand. Now, what is he doing? He's admitting shooting Willie. But he's minimizing his role in it. I think his chain of events cannot be true. The face-to-face struggle didn't happen, or he couldn't have got shot in the back of the head, rear of Willie's head when the trigger is pulled. His story is both.
Out! I need you out now!
You're out of your mind. You're crazy.
Leave!
He's truthful about doing it. He's truthful about killing him. He's not truthful about how. The fact that he did is close enough for me.
Go ahead and stand up. We're going to have to handcuff you.
Please. No, this isn't supposed to happen.
You're under arrest for murder.
Sir, please, no, please.
After we place him in custody, we do a blood and urine test to scan for drugs. And our man Sang is using methamphetamines. They test positive in his system. Methamphetamines will heighten your sense of paranoia, your sense of rage, your rising to anger, your feelings of jealousy. All your emotions are piqued by the chemicals you've introduced into your brain.
If he has a proclivity of jealousy and that sort of behavior, then the drugs are going to just enhance that and make it worse. When you have drugs, guns, and jealousy involved, bad things are going to happen.
12 months later, Sang Vasquez pleads guilty to manslaughter and drug possession. Because of prior drug convictions, he is sentenced to a combined total of 24 years behind bars.
I wonder if Sang has any regret or remorse for what he's done. Like I told him during the sentencing hearing, I forgive him, but I won't forget. Every day my brother's not
is another example, in my view, of a friend doing something incredibly violent to another friend. It's the worst thing that you can imagine. This is someone you would go to lengths for. You weren't planning on dying for the friend. And the friend wasn't planning on making you die.
Coming up, when a patient's trip to a local hospital turns into a crime scene, Kenda is faced with one of the most extraordinary cases of his career.
When that alarm went off, her immediate thought was, somebody's trying to kill this woman. I'm very seldom surprised. This one surprised me.
Lieutenant Joe Kenda is headed home after another long day when his radio crash.
For call out is when you haven't even gone home. And it just seems really unfair.
There's reports of a patient at Penrose Hospital that may have been murdered in their hospital bed. It's not entirely clear what's going on.
10-4, I'll be right there.
Penrose Main Hospital is a large hospital in Colorado Springs. Because this was broadcast over police band radios that the press monitors, every press person I've ever known is acting as if this is the story of the year. When it begins as chaotic, it stays that way. So I, of course, can hardly wait to get to the 10th floor, because this is going to be the same way. But it'll at least be a smaller crowd. It was very peaceful in the elevator. Nothing was happening. Then the doors open and everything is happening. Obviously, people believe that something awful has happened here.
There's been a murder in the hospital.
So I speak to the first officers on the scene to get a basic understanding of what has occurred here and who may or may not be involved in it.
Is this scene secured or someone's still on the loose?
No, the hospital's totally secure. In fact, we don't even have a murder. But there is some concern from some of the hospital staff that someone attempted to kill a patient by tampering with their IV.
Kenda learns that the patient whose life was allegedly in danger is 44-year-old Carol Taylor.
Our victim is in bed, broke her leg, and she's developed blood clots in her leg.
I got Lieutenant Kenda. Can you tell me about the patient?
We're using an IV in her arm to administer heparin.
And what happened?
Well, we're using the IMED infusion pump, and it has an alarm on it if there's any kind of problem.
If the IMED infusion pump detects something's wrong, it turns itself off and sounds an audible alarm. In other words, it is designed to prevent the patient from getting an incorrect amount or an incorrect type of liquid.
And what happened?
Well, the alarm went off. 412. I got it. Are you feeling your head? What the noise is? Oh my God! What happened? I don't know. Just what happened? Somehow, the IV line, it was pulled from her arm.
What's your opinion about what happened to her?
I think someone tried to kill her.
Patricia tells me her immediate thought was, someone has tampered with that pump. Tampered with the medication.
Her vitals and everything was okay, so if something was put into the pump, it didn't get to her.
Mind if I have my guy look at the pump?
Sure.
So we already have our crime lab people there, and they freely admit to me that they're not really that familiar with medical equipment. So we get a hospital employee who deals with these things all the time. She comes upstairs and assists the tech, and they look this thing over.
This shouldn't be here.
Hey, Lieutenant, can you come take a look at this? What is it?
We're treating her with heparin. It should be clear. It looks like water. This is a milky substance that shouldn't be there.
I don't know what it is, and neither do they. But what I suspect is someone injected something into that line they believed would kill her. We need to get it tested to find out what it is.
All right, let's get this to the lab as soon as possible. Make sure you haven't put a rush on us so we can find out what's in there.
Yes, sir.
Since the only people in the room with Carol Taylor when her IV alarm went off were her husband and her 2 children. Kenda needs to talk to them first.
The children are with their mother. This is not the time to talk to them. I'm going to start with the husband.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes, sir?
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm a colonel in the Army. I've been in for 27 years. I'm chief of oral surgery at Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center.
He's not the least bit distressed. He's very quiet, very calm, no emotion. Something you don't expect to see. I thought that was odd.
Well, listen, I have to ask. I mean, you were in the room with all the alarms going off. Would you have any reason why you'd want to harm your wife?
No, of course not. Why would I hurt my wife?
He said, we have our moments like all married couples, but nothing serious. We just came to visit, and I don't understand all the fuss. And he's minimizing all of this like it's all some big mistake. I disagree. Whatever this is, mistake is not the word that comes to mind.
Keep an eye on him, make sure he doesn't go anywhere.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Where'd they move the wife to?
I think they put her in 609.
I'll come with me.
I take another detective with me, and I direct the detective to take his children from the room.
Hey, Carol, I'm Lieutenant Kenda.
Hi.
I need to ask about what happened earlier.
Okay. Well, there's not much to tell, really.
She's just looking at me and nodding, but I'm thinking, you're awfully matter-of-fact for what's just happened here.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's possible that your husband might want to try to harm you?
My husband? Oh, no. We have a wonderful marriage. We just get along great.
I saw her reaction and her demeanor as bizarre. It's as if she wants this all to go away.
Listen, believe me, everybody's making something out of nothing. I'm fine.
So I've gotten a bizarre story from the husband. Now I talk to the wife, and she's telling me that he lied. And you think to yourself, oh, madam, please permit me to disagree about him being the husband of the year. So we arrive at this hospital for the mysterious investigation of this strange little pump that says bad things are happening to this patient. We have liquid in a pump that's not supposed to be there. We have a victim who doesn't see herself as a victim, and a suspect who says he's done nothing.
Clearly, there is something wrong because you have 2 people telling you that they're just ecstatically happy, and yet someone has tried to kill the wife.
I need to find somebody who's going to talk to me about these people. Are there skeletons in the Taylor closet? And if there are, does somebody know about them?
To learn more about Carol and Dennis Taylor, Lieutenant Kenda reaches out to a family friend who's worked alongside Dennis for years.
Mr. Bowman? Hey, thanks for driving out to see me.
Sure. So what do you want to know about Dennis?
Can you tell me a little bit about his marriage to Carol? Did they get along?
Well, they've had a bit of a rough road lately.
Stan is able to describe the life of Dennis and Carol Taylor pretty well because he knows them well.
So Dennis told me that Carol's been verbally abusive to him, that she's been demeaning him.
Every time we go to one of these receptions, you're drinking. You're drunk. It drives me crazy. You are so pathetic.
He is surprised to learn that she's punched him before. Things are not good between the 2 of them.
He started drinking way too much. He started seeing other women.
Stan explains that even though Carol knew about her husband's extramarital affairs, she refused to grant Dennis a divorce.
Stanley says further that Dennis has told him that he wants out of this marriage, but that Carol has threatened him, that she will report his behavior to the military. The drinking, the extramarital affairs, all of which are in violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice if he tries to divorce her.
Stan Pillman also tells Kenda that Carol enjoyed the privileges of being a military wife too much to lose them to divorce.
So you think Dennis felt like he was trapped in this relationship with no way out?
Yes, sir. Pretty much.
Stan Pillman's statement provides Kenda with a clear-cut motive for why Dennis Taylor would try to kill his own wife.
He wants rid of her because she makes him unhappy. He selected a new path to get that done.
But Kenda is lacking physical
evidence that there's been a crime.
Excuse me, may I use your phone?
So the lab results to me at this moment are critical. So I call the laboratory from the hospital.
Hey, Russ, it's Kenda. I was calling to check on the results of the liquid in that pump I sent over to you.
Yes, it's an insecticide called diazinon.
Basically, diazinon is poison. It's designed to kill ants, spiders, cockroaches, creepy crawlers of any description.
This diazinon, if it was ingested into a human, would it kill him?
Oh yes, they would not be long for this world.
Should be dead in a matter of minutes, in excruciating pain. Ultimately, you would burn to death from the inside out.
Thank you.
Now I know what it is. I know what it will do. I know who put it there, and I know the reason.
Dennis, we've been investigating what happened here. The story you're giving us is now out.
You, my man, are responsible for trying to kill your wife. Not only are you a lousy married person, you're also a lousy killer.
Stand up, Colonel. You're under arrest for attempted murder. Give me a coat.
I look in the pocket.
This isn't looking very good for you, Dennis.
There's a plunged hypodermic, milky white substance in the bottom.
You know, like an attorney for you.
No, I don't want an attorney.
Want to tell us what's going on here?
I was walking around the store earlier today in the garden section.
And I saw this bottle, and I saw the skull and crossbones. They're big on the bottle, skull and crossbones. And it just came to me that this is the way out of this.
So I just bought it. And then I went to the hospital.
Bring the syringe with you as well?
No, when the kids were visiting with Carol, I just walked by the nurse's station. And I saw some unattended, so I just grabbed one.
He's a doctor of oral surgery. He knew how to fill a syringe. He knew how to get it into an IV.
He says he went to his car, opened the trunk. In the trunk is the Kmart bag containing diazinon. Removes the cap, puts the needle in, draws it full of diazinon, and goes back to the room.
You got it, Angela. I'm really proud of you.
He slips his hand below the pump, pulls up the IV line, gets it under the level of the bed, injects the line, plunges the needle all the way, and then sticks it back in his pocket.
According to Dennis, that's when his plan hit a snag.
I don't know. Are you okay? Maybe the battery died.
I think he hit the wrong spot on the IV. He got very rattled when the moment.
Just in case.
Oh my God.
I think fear of arrest is what stopped him. Maybe he thinks that's going to save him, but he's taken a substantial step in the commission of this crime. So that's not going to work.
Kenda charges Dennis Taylor with attempted murder, but the case never reaches a civilian courtroom. Instead, the disgraced colonel will meet his fate in front of his Army peers.
He is a highly ranked officer, and he has embarrassed the officer corps of the United States Army by his behavior.
Despite his wife's efforts to save him, the military insists on trying Dennis Taylor in front of an Army board comprised of 10 officers. He is found guilty and sentenced to 18 months of hard labor. They also strip him and his family of all Army privileges.
They operated under a scorched earth policy regarding this entire case. They wanted to send a message.
He was kind of at the point where he was so desperate to end this situation. And, you know, if he'd been slightly more deft about it, slightly less nervous, there's a good possibility he would have pulled this off and never been caught.
Such a crazy thing to do. You know, when you get married, you take an oath. I will love you in sickness and in health, in good times and bad, and all the various components of that statement, until death do us part. Dennis decided it was time to move to the final phrase and have death do us part. Didn't work out.
A violent ambush in a young woman's home sets off a horrifying chain of events.
He died in her arms.
When something like this happens, you think it could have been me.
Just look at this place.
Home invasions are not random crimes. This just doesn't add up.
It's up to Lieutenant Joe Kenda to unmask the motive behind this terrifying rampage.
Keep beating the bushes, hoping that you're gonna find that link.
But is there more to the murder than meets the eye?
Maybe these girls are lying. I'm gonna bury you under a prison so far they're gonna have to pump sunshine to you. Bad things happen to nice people. Is it karma? Is it fate? I have no idea. If I knew, I'd write a book. There's one thing that never changes. Murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I'm Lieutenant Joe Kenda. I've solved nearly 400 homicides. Somebody has to take control. Somebody has to look out for the victim. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved.
It's 10 p.m. on the east side of Colorado Springs. 18-year-old Becky Hamilton is making homemade pizza with her sister Lee.
I'm a little nervous.
Don't be. I will get that.
Okay. Hey.
Their dinner guest is Lee's ex-boyfriend, Kelly Knudsen.
You look great.
Thanks, you too.
Kelly and Lee had been dating for about 4 months, and everybody who knew them said they were a great couple, seemed inseparable.
These are so beautiful.
But they had had problems and decided to break up. And since then, everybody said they were miserable. They knew they wanted to be back together.
Grab a beer.
Lee's sister Becky actually wanted to help bring them back together over dinner.
And all of a sudden, they hear some banging at the front door. And, who could that be?
Were you expecting somebody? No. Who is it?
I've got something to give to Becky. Just take a second.
She didn't recognize the voice and she didn't know what this was about, so that actually scared her.
Though Becky is frightened, Sister Lee's curiosity gets the best of her.
I don't think we should. Let's just stay home.
That wonderful evening turns into this nightmare.
Across town, it's dead quiet at police headquarters. About the only light on is the one in Detective Joe Kenda's office.
Yeah, I just finished up the last report, so I can be home soon.
I'm in my office, and I call my wife, and she's not very happy. I'm calling her at 10 o'clock at night and I say, hey, I'm sorry, baby, it's been a long day. Is dinner still available? She said, yeah, if you come home right now, I can heat it up for you.
Yeah, that sounds good. Actually, anything sounds good this time of night. Hang on a second. What is it?
Dispatch been trying to get a hold of you on your office phone. Something about a shooting incident, 835 East State.
There's been a report of a robbery with multiple shots fired, and at least one person has been shot.
I'm on it. I'm sorry, honey. Dinner's gonna have to wait. Yeah, there's been another shooting. Bye.
I was so hungry that night that dinner was priority one, but the police department once again changed my mind. Now this case is priority number one.
Minutes later, Kenda is on the scene.
This particular area is a working class kind of neighborhood since the 1950s. This area has a relatively modest crime rate.
So what do we got?
Home invasion. 3 masked men, one with a gun. We've got these 2 sisters, Lee and Becky Hamilton.
There are 2 women present who are shrieking with emotion. They are absolutely out of their minds for what has happened in this place.
Lee's boyfriend, Kelly Knudsen, he took several rounds to the chest.
He's 30 years old, and from what the officers learned, he's a contractor.
Kelly was just a big guy with a big heart, kind of a quiet guy. He was a hard worker. He was trying to run his own business in construction. Just a good guy.
Is he alive?
EMS took him. If you ask me, I don't think he's going to make it.
Let's go check it out.
And then we get the immediate call from the hospital, he's pronounced dead on arrival. At Memorial ER,
The officer tells Kenda that the two women show no signs of physical injury, but are seriously traumatized.
they both cared about Kelly a lot. Obviously, they have valuable information. They're just not in a condition to tell us that at the moment, but we have other things we can do while we're waiting for that to happen.
Gentlemen? Sir, just look at this place.
They saw bullet holes sprayed all over the wall, all over the ceiling. So,
To your left as you walk in the door, there is a large blood pool on the carpet.
You say you shot the Vic 4 times?
4 times, center mass.
Most likely the rounds are fired at Kelly Knudsen at close range, so they have enough energy to pass all the way through his body.
This cluster 4 looks like he stood here and executed him.
He's discovered lying on his back. If you are shot in the chest, the bullet does not exit. The blood's contained within the chest cavity. When a bullet exits, you now have a drain, causing that large blood stain to appear on the carpet.
Looks like all 9mm Luger casings.
We discovered 21 expended casings in this little room. Given the number of casings, at a minimum it's a semi-automatic pistol with an extended magazine.
it was so overkill to have a weapon like that.
Are you shooting just to shoot?
You always try to figure out what a pattern of gunshots can tell you and sort of figure out what the suspect's intent was.
Could be a lot of things. It could be, do I have your attention yet? You're not responding. Let me prove to you this gun is loaded.
There's no pattern, it's just wild gunfire. Except right here.
He's able to focus enough of it to put four of them in the center of mass in Mr. Knudsen.
So this wallet under a cabinet, there's an ID in it for a Kelly Knudsen.
Any cash?
No cash, just credit cards.
As CSIs process the wallet, Kenda continues looking for clues and spies something curious. Signs of a missing object.
There's a dust mark on a table where this object was, and the wires are hanging over that table.
Looks like they took the VCR.
These people take a life. They wind up taking some money and maybe a piece of equipment. It just doesn't add up. Home invasion robberies are not random crimes. They don't break into somebody's house in the unknown attempt to take things they don't know it's there. These people, whoever they are, come here with a purpose in mind.
To Kenda, it seems that purpose was to execute Kelly Knudsen.
At this stage of this investigation, which admittedly is first blush, the only victim here is Kelly Knudsen.
Oh my God, Kelly!
These women are unhurt, so the focus has to be on Kelly Knudsen.
Want to run a background check on the victim as soon as possible?
Yes, sir.
As Kenda ponders whether Kelly Knudsen's murder and her sister Lee.
The resident of this apartment E is Becky Hamilton. How would someone know that the intended victim of their anger, rage, whatever, is going to be in a place where he does not live at that moment? 21 bullets are fired, and 0 hit these girls. Or maybe these girls are lying. At this stage of the investigation, we have multiple shots fired in a very small apartment. That itself is odd. We have one victim, Kelly Knudsen. Kelly is there to mend a budding relationship with his new girlfriend. He's there to make up to Lee. That's all he's there for. We're trying to find out why people arrive at this place, of all places on the planet, to carry out this crime.
Detectives are trying to figure out whether Kelly, in fact, was a target, so there was still a lot of unanswered questions.
10-4, thank you.
Anything?
I checked all available records on Knudsen.
What'd you find out?
He's an honorably discharged Army veteran. Ran a renovation business with his brother, but no criminal record.
So explain.
Yeah, absolutely. Not even a traffic ticket.
Thank you.
There is no criminal history on anyone named Kelly Knudsen, so we have no reason to believe that he's involved in criminal activity, resulting in him being multiply shot to death.
And that leaves two witnesses, Becky and Lee Hamilton, as Kenda's best hope for some answers.
Young Lieutenant Kenda, I know this is tough, but we need to talk.
Yeah, I want to help.
Kenda starts with Kelly Knudsen's 21-year-old ex-girlfriend, Lee, who'd been hoping to rekindle their romance.
So, Lee, why would these people come here?
I don't know why.
Can you tell me what happened?
Becky was just trying to get Kelly and I back together. And so we invited him over for dinner. And now he's dead.
It was supposed to be a night that ended in love.
All right, you guys ready to make some pizzas?
Where two people, Kelly and Lee, could get back together and plan their future.
Sure. So a good night.
And instead, it turns out to be the worst night of anyone's life.
You see any faces?
No, none. They had on pullover masks.
They look to be 18 to 25 if they walked in here right now.
The guy with the gun, he was different. He had an Uzi, like a movie gun, and he was crazy.
According to these girls, he's on a power trip. He has this gun. The mentality takes over. And all of a sudden you go to being Mr. Power Trip.
They kept talking about this stash and about this money. And we kept telling them that they had the wrong place, but they weren't listening. And they were kicking it and beating Kelly.
Somehow they had information that there might be some kind of drugs and or money in the house.
What's this? I don't know!
Get his wallet, man. It was at that point that one of the suspects reached into his pants pocket, removed his wallet.
$200? Where's the money? I don't know.
They were yelling, "Where is the stuff?" She didn't know what they were talking about. What stuff?
Come on, let's get this money, man.
They're searching through furniture, under beds, opening drawers, and they find nothing.
Lee, these people thought you had money and drugs.
I kept telling them they had the wrong place, but they weren't listening.
And that's when they get really agitated, and this incident begins to escalate even further than it already is.
Where's that? Huh? You open your mouth. Open.
Lee was told to open her mouth, and the barrel of the gun was put in her mouth.
Somebody better speak the up. 1, 2, don't do that!
And this seemed to be the moment that triggered the suspect with the gun to kind of go on.
You're done.
He's dying. They don't want any witnesses.
He turns the gun toward Becky, but the gun goes click. His intention is probably to continue shooting everybody, but the weapon fails.
Lee believes he died in her arms.
No! Oh my God! Oh my God! No!
Thank you.
Why would they do it? Why?
I'll find out. I promise.
Based on what they're saying, it's not a targeted hit on Kelly Kenda. It is a targeted home invasion for narcotics. What if there are drugs in here? So my focus is on Becky, the one that lives there.
Becky, these guys knew your address and were convinced that you had drugs and a lot of money.
No, never.
Somebody had to know this address. It connects to her. What if we're being lied to?
You said they asked for you, by name.
I don't know why. I swear to God, there's no drugs.
There's a simple way for Kenda to determine if Becky is telling the truth.
Excuse me. We'll be back in a minute.
If it's a drug house, there's always a measuring system. They're sold in doses. You need plastic bags, you need vials, you have scales for weight.
Hey, Steve, when you search the place, did you find any evidence of serious drug use or drug dealing of any kind?
No, sir, there's no scales, no baggies, nothing at all.
There's no paraphernalia you normally find in people who sell narcotics. None of that's here.
Based on this information, Kenda believes Becky's story. And with that, he shifts the focus of his line of questioning.
Do you think of anyone who would want to hurt you?
And her whole body language changes. Her head drops a little bit. She's afraid of saying anything. Oh, Becky, you do know, don't you? She knows something of value. I want it, and I want it right away.
On the east side of Colorado Springs, Detective Joe Kenda is investigating the shooting death of 30-year-old Kelly Knudsen.
So, at this point, we have one victim and two alive. We have a lot of physical evidence. And I think I'm about to learn something from the reluctant Becky as to why these three individuals selected this particular place.
Becky, I know that you're holding something back. If you know something, now's the time to say it.
There's this girl. She was staying with me.
Who is she?
Marie.
Becky then reveals that she had a roommate who is a younger single female that had stayed with her for a period of time.
I met her at a party like a month ago. She had run away from home and she was staying on people's couches, so I offered to put her up. I think you should have enough space. You like it? This is awesome. Really?
According to Becky, Marie moved into her guest room several weeks earlier. At first, the arrangement seemed fine, but that quickly changed.
The issues she had primarily with Marie comes over very frequently.
That's my jam right there. Okay, listen to this.
There we go. Hey, Becky.
And Becky sees these people as what she describes as gangsters. The kind of people that use drugs that she does not want in her home.
Becky informed the detectives that she repeatedly had confronted Marie over this type of behavior.
Hey, look, Marie. I already talked to you about having all these shady guys over here. They're not good. What's the big deal? The big deal is that it's my home, and these guys, they're gangsters and thugs. Okay, no more, or you can't stay. They're my friends. And I thought you were too.
And Marie was the kind of kid who wanted to be streetwise and tough, not the kind of person that Becky wanted to be living in her apartment with.
Becky tells Kenda the tipping point came just 2 days ago when she was putting away a laundry basket in the guest room closet.
She says, I found something in her closet. I don't use drugs, but I think it was probably cocaine. She'd suspected it, now she finds evidence of it. She forces Marie to leave.
You need to get your clothes and get out. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care. You're done. Go, go!
Now we're getting somewhere. If Marie hates anybody, she hates Becky for throwing her in the street.
You know what? Screw you, bitch.
So what do we think here? Marie could be vengeful. Is she a mastermind? Probably not. Is she a catalyst? Probably she is.
And so you threw her out and she was mad.
Very mad.
Then afterwards, you guys show up looking for drugs and money. You think that's connected?
Becky tells Kenda that about 8:30, Marie called her.
Yeah, so you let me back in or what?
Sorry, Marie, but I don't want to live with someone who's using drugs. We're done here.
I won't forget this, you hear me?
This phone call happens and this horrible event happens. So, to me, 2 and 2 equals 4. Marie is angry, and Marie runs her mouth to somebody. She tells them this tale because she's vengeful. Becky's got drugs and money at her place.
You know where I can find this, Marie?
No, but I can give you some names to call.
What's Marie's last name?
Green.
Thank you, Becky. The detectives start searching databases for possible records, parents, or things of that nature in an effort to try to find her.
If there's any related files that you found.
He put a full court press on the problem. Everybody's looking for Marie. She, in my opinion, is now the key. She knows who these people are. She doesn't know about them. She's one of them.
The efforts of Kenda and his team quickly pay off.
We have hits on a runaway child report. I talked to the officer that took the report.
What can I do for you?
Hey, I'm working this case, and I see you have a report for Marie Christine Green.
Yeah, her mom called that in a month ago, and I closed it out this morning.
How so?
Well, her mom called and said that Marie came home.
Really?
The girl came home because it said she was being threatened by people on the street. And when he said that to me, it just rung true to me. Oh, really, Marie? Somebody's threatening you. Well, but I know who that is. The witness who has knowledge. They're going to threaten her.
With the address of Marie's mother in hand, Kenda immediately heads to her home.
Marie, there's a gentleman here to see you.
The mother is pleased that the police have arrived. She says maybe you could knock some sense into this girl.
Marie, I think you know why I'm here.
No, not really. I didn't do anything.
I think you do. It's about a man being shot dead in cold blood at Becky Hamilton's.
First, I want to panic her. This isn't TV. This is life. And I'm about to step on your neck. I'm investigating the death of private contractor Kelly Knudsen. Has been ruthlessly gunned down by 3 masked men. We are inches away from identifying who these people are. I finally found Marie Green, a troubled 16-year-old runaway kid who may hold the key to this entire case in her hand.
Becky told me that you two fought a lot about your friends and your late nights.
Yeah, she didn't like my friends too much.
Marie likes meeting the bad guys. She likes hanging out with these people and doing a little drugs.
So Becky threw you out.
Yeah, a couple days ago.
And then what happened?
I was at a friend's place. Some chick told me Becky was trying to get hold of me. Yeah, so you let me back in or what?
Sorry, Marie, but I do not want to live with someone who's using drugs.
Well, this phone conversation gets rather heated because she's got an alligator mouth.
You're a heartless piece of
While she's on the phone, 3 dudes show up. And when she hangs up, she says,
I can't believe that.
Who's that, Chico, Becky?
And Marie says, yeah, Becky.
And you know she's sitting on a big sack.
And Marie starts talking about how she got kicked out of Becky's house and sort of hints to them that Becky would have some drugs and maybe some cash at her house.
Did she have money and drugs at her place?
No.
So why'd you say that?
I was mad.
So you're mad, and now a man is dead because you're mad?
I never thought they'd do it. I didn't. I'm so sorry.
This is it. Marie, I'm going to take these people down, and you're going to help me do it.
Marie, tell me about the 3 guys.
They're just some guys I met at a party. 3 black guys.
She knows by first name only, but she knows them.
Marie names Monty, Abe, and Andy. She also tells Kenda that after her lie about the purported stash at Becky's place, Monty invited over a Hispanic kid named Danny to join them.
What's up, bro?
Yo.
Hey, bro, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Hey, you ready for this?
Yeah, let's roll.
Alright. The only guy that has a car is Danny. Those other 3 guys, they don't have a car. They get rides, or Danny gives them a ride.
I'm gonna go grab some. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay.
Marie's 16 years old. She doesn't really understand the consequences of her actions. Probably she does not, in her wildest dreams, ever think that they're going to go and take the action that they took.
Terrified, Marie decides to move back with her mom. But on the way, Monty and his crew confronted her.
Hey, Marie.
Monty, I didn't know that her sister was going to be there and...
You heard about Becky's, right?
Yeah,
Well, let's just forget that ever happened.
forgotten it.
Keep that mouth there, right?
She she says they tell me that they were the ones that did Becky's, and that if I told anyone, I'd be next. Okay, this works for me, and these are the dudes.
There's one problem. Marie only knows their first names.
First name gets us nowhere. They said, tell me more about Danny and his car.
It's like red or burgundy.
You know anything else about it?
It has this decal on the windshield.
All the way across the front of the windshield, it's really big. It says, yeah, boy. Y-A-A-A-A, boy. So the car is the key. And this girl has given us something unique about this car.
Thank you, Marie. Miss Green, we'll be in touch. I want you to stay at home, inside. You go nowhere. You got it?
Okay.
Now that Marie understands that her actions led to the death of another individual, she is remorseful. She has all the right reactions. It's a little late, but she does have them. So there is hope for her yet.
I just put a bolo out on a mid-sized sedan, red or burgundy in color. It's got a decal on the front windshield that says, yeah, boy.
This car could be anywhere in the city.
Kenda.
At this point, or anywhere, even in the region.
Days tick by with no developments.
All your patrol officers are working to try to locate that critical link. And you keep beating the bushes, hoping that you're going to find it.
Then, one afternoon, 2 weeks after the murder.
200 bucks and 25. I'll be in the northbound lane, 4,000 blocks of Airport Road.
You can see that yeah boy from 3 blocks away.
There quite possibly could be rapid-fire handgun inside the vehicle. So it is a very high-risk situation for police officers.
Driver, keep your hands up.
The suspects in the car, at least for a period of time, kind of have the advantage that the police can't see what they're doing.
With your right hand, take the key out. Walk outside the door.
Your emotions are always peaked at these moments. You are confronting someone who you believe is involved in a first-degree murder. This has the potential to go very badly.
Now with your right hand, reach out. Open the door from the outside. Keeping your hands up, slowly get on your knees.
We approach that car. You're obviously in command. We have a numerical advantage. We have weapons drawn. We want no opportunity for them to resist.
He's wanted.
His ID says Daniel Roscoe, age 20.
I don't know if he's the shooter yet, but there's no question he was there.
Daniel Roscoe, you're under arrest for the suspicion of murder and aggravated robbery.
He's a 20-year-old kid, not armed, who is scared beyond words. That's a good sign. He's terrified. I like terrified. We've already gotten him. I need to just get the rest of the way.
Responding officers bring Danny Orozco in for questioning. Kenda decides to let Danny stew in the interrogation room, while he calls Marie Green down to the station to see if she can identify him.
I'm 99.9% convinced that this is the Danny I want. He's driving the right car, but I still need confirmation from Marie, her witness. Before I jump down Danny's throat with both feet, I want to know I'm jumping down the correct throat.
One of them being Danny Orozco. But he's worried Marie is still too frightened to positively ID him.
Oh my god, I can't do this. Come on.
We can do this. Why don't you take your time?
Witnesses are always afraid, particularly if you have the right guy in the lineup. That is a perpetrator of a violent crime.
Look at each picture. Tell me you recognize anyone that was involved in the events at Becky's house.
Number 3. That's Danny.
Are you sure that's him?
Definitely, that's him. That's the guy with the car that says, yeah, boy. That's Danny.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
All right, he is the right Danny. Now it's time to play the game.
Armed with a positive ID, Kenda is now ready to confront Danny Orozco.
You know why you're here, Danny?
Nah.
Tell me. You wanted for questioning the murder of Kelly Knudsen.
The typical behavior when an interrogation begins is what you find with Danny. Danny is reasonably sure his name is Danny, and yes, that car he was driving is in fact his. And beyond that, he don't know nothing.
Do you know Monty?
Never heard that name.
How about Abe?
I don't think I've heard that one either.
Ever hear of Andy?
Nah. Who's that?
I say, you know, it's funny, Danny, you don't seem to know very much.
So you don't know any of these guys?
Nope. But unfortunately for you, I know a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't need any of them. I'll just charge you with first-degree murder.
And somebody's going to bury you under a prison for first-degree murder. So far, they're going to have to pump sunshine to you.
So you want to change the story about Monty, Abe, and Andy? Or you just want to go with the same story?
I have Danny right where I want him.
What you think about it, Danny? You got a minute.
He's ready to tell me the story, and I need something, anything at all, to tip him over that edge.
Hey, sir, you're going to want to see this. Federal firearms purchase form in Danny's name.
Look at this. Well, my, Danny.
After 3 weeks on the case, Lieutenant Joe Kenda is zeroing in on the men who murdered 30-year-old Kelly Knudsen.
We've come a long way over a period of several weeks in a very complicated having one of the dudes that was part of the stick-up crew, Daniel Orozco, sitting right in front of me and rattled all the way to the deepest part of his bones.
As the interrogation heats up, Kenda is handed a slip of paper, a firearms registration document in Danny's name.
I asked for a routine weapons check on Danny, and sure enough, documents come back that identify Danny as the registered owner of a 9mm semi-automatic large-capacity magazine weapon, just like the one used in the murder.
Why don't you read that for me right there, Danny?
It says, Cobra 9mm semi-automatic pistol.
A Cobra is cheaply made, and they have a bad habit of jamming. Just like this crime scene. When it jammed.
Cobra 9mm pistol. I'm betting that's the gun that was used in the homicide. And I think that's a big problem for you, Danny. I think that's a very, very big problem.
It's over. And Danny is about to sing like a canary.
It wasn't me. I told them not to. I told them.
Danny realized that if they're able to actually link his gun to this murder investigation, they may actually think he is the shooter.
So it was your gun that was used in the murder?
Yes, I bought it for protection.
Tell me who was there and what happened.
It's this crew I know. They're real tight. Monte, Hankinson, Abe Arrington, and Andy Carlisle.
Danny tells me everything. And it's a great story to listen to because all the mystery just goes away.
Kenda can now fill in the blanks, and it all goes back to a single flashpoint. Marie's malicious lie that Becky Hamilton was stashing drugs and money at her apartment.
I can't believe that.
Who's that? Your girl Becky?
Yeah, and she's sitting on a big stash, too.
They call up Danny and say, Danny, bring your gun over, bring your car over. 10 minutes later, Danny shows up.
Alright, so Marie says there's a big stash. I say, let's get it.
Monty is the ringleader of this group. He's the wizard, he's the planner, and Danny did what Monty asked him to do.
Y'all down? Let's do it. Scam good, grab the goods, and go.
I'm in.
Danny, all we need you to do is drive, alright?
Yeah, I'm in. No sweat.
You got the 9mm?
Set up in the car. Just gotta scare him though, right? Ain't nobody gonna get hurt?
Not if they give us what we're asking for. Come on, let's go.
After they devised the plan,
make a left up there. Time to lock and load.
The gun is actually under the front seat.
careful with that, man. Safety's not on.
It's a big ass clip.
He just fired 2 rounds out the window. Bam, bam. Danny freaks out. What are you, nuts? And Danny realizes that maybe this was a really bad idea.
According to Danny Orozco, shortly after that, they pulled around the corner from Becky Hamilton's apartment.
All right, let's do this.
Monte, don't do anything crazy out there, alright, man?
Just keep watch. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Dude, if y'all ain't back in 3 minutes, I'm out of here.
Don't worry. Everything on the way to.
Danny claims that just before his 3 passengers exited the car, Monty issued one more instruction.
Andy, here. Yeah, I'm good.
Monty decided that Andy Carlisle should be the one carrying the gun.
I got you. He's now enabled Andy to be something other than Mr. Anonymous. Now he's Mr. Powerful. And he's got the gun to prove it.
Danny tells Kenda he isn't sure what happened next.
He turns up the radio to listen to music. Oh, that's Danny. He turned it up because he didn't want to hear the shots. Because he knew they were coming.
The 3 run out. They've taken a VCR, a few $100s, and Kelly Newson's life.
Oh my God, no!
What the hell just happened?
It wasn't just that Becky chick, some other dude.
Andy shot them.
I didn't kill him. I just capped his leg a little bit. Right?
Andy knows exactly where he's shooting him. Those are aimed shots. He intended to kill, but he didn't shoot him in the leg. And Andy knows it.
What the hell? You shot somebody with my gun?
Man, just drive.
Drive.
They've used his weapon to commit a serious crime. Danny is distressed to the max.
Though Danny claims what happened next was a blur, he does remember dropping off Monty, Andy, and Abe.
So the gun Andy used to kill Kelly, where is it?
I buried it in my shelf in the closet.
So now we know the story. We recover this gun out of his closet. This is the final nail in the coffin of all of these people. We have a talker, and we have physical evidence to support Sam.
Move in to arrest the 3 suspects still on the loose.
You're under arrest. Andy and Abe are arrested almost immediately at places where they're known to be. Everyone gets arrested except for Monty Hankerson, who flees the jurisdiction. He's gone.
Kenda enters his fugitive's name and physical description into the FBI's national database, placing law enforcement across the country on alert for Monty Hankerson.
Abe and Andy are charged and convicted of first-degree murder. Danny, because he cooperated, would go to jail, convicted of second-degree burglary, but not for an extended period of time.
2 years after the murder, FBI agents finally capture Monty Hankerson in California.
Monty is charged and convicted of second-degree murder.
16-year-old Marie Green isn't charged with any crime. But Kenda lays some of the blame for the murder directly at her feet.
Kelly Newson is a dead man because Marie runs her mouth and lies without ever thinking it was going to go as far as it did.
It's so tragic. Becky was trying to help the Marie situation, help her sister Lee and Kelly's situation, and those 2 acts of kindness result in a very vicious, brutal murder.
It is a rare thing in murder to have a victim that is absolutely killed at random. Kelly Newson was a purely innocent victim. Murder is a terrible thing. Is it preventable? No, it isn't. That's what makes it so scary.
2 murder investigations from the case files of Lieutenant Joe Kenda. First, a vicious attack leaves a young mother-to-be fighting for her life.
There's bloody sheets on the bed. There's blood on the floor.
The key to unlocking this mystery lies with the victim herself.
She said, I can remember everything. She is describing what no movie can reproduce. You look at this frail 24-year-old girl very pale. He is stiff as a board.
It's sort of odd that he would be down there in the first place.
Somebody being dumped at that location is quite possible.
A mysterious encampment may hold the answers, but it's fraught with danger.
There is a subculture of people at this location that have an own code of behavior that often is driven by violence. If you are not known to them, you're the enemy. My attitude about Court is, I say, see this guy? Let me tell you what he did. Now let me tell you how I know that. Now, what do you think? You want to hang him from the highest tree? Or do you want to give him a silver star? That would be up to you. I've done my part of this. Do what it is you're going to do. There's one thing that never changes. Murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I'm Lieutenant Joe Kenda. I've solved nearly 400 homicides. Somebody has to take control. Somebody has to look out for the victim. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved.
It's a slow afternoon for police in Colorado Springs when patrol officers Matt Savard and Jeff Parker make a routine traffic stop.
How are you doing today, sir?
Great, officer. How you doing?
You know how fast you were going?
Maybe a little bit over.
We'll agree to disagree on that one. Do you have your license and registration handy?
Yes, sir, I do.
But suddenly their quiet day kicks into high gear.
Is this your correct address?
It is.
31 Golf, go ahead, sir.
We've got a female victim who just called in and said she's been shot at 2526 Forest Hill Road.
10-4 en route. Rook, let's go. Got a shooting call.
This is your lucky day. Watch the door. Watch the door.
Go around back. It's locked.
When officers first get on scene, they're unable to get inside the residence. Hey, we've got someone on the floor with blood. Let's go in.
Clear.
Clear. 31 Golf.
Hold on, okay?
We have a female white, mid-20s, possible gunshot wound to the neck or face. There was a large amount of blood oozing from her neck area, from her mouth area.
Who did this to you?
They're trying to ask her questions. They're not getting much of a response because of the injuries to her throat.
The stomach. You're pregnant?
The victim was pregnant. She was worried about her child.
Hold on, ma'am. Help us on the way, okay? Hold on.
A few miles away, Lieutenant Joe Kenda is nearing the end of what has been a crazy day.
We had all kinds of things happening. People being arrested, people being interrogated. Would run out of detectives to deal with all these people. So I was escorting a handcuffed person into an interrogation room.
Lieutenant, just got word that a woman's been shot in her home on the east side. Apparently she's pregnant.
All right, give me a second. All right, have a seat right there. Let's go.
When I heard that this is a young woman who's pregnant, that really upset me. Nothing is more innocent than a child. I find the officers are first on the scene. What can they tell me about this? All I know is a headline. Pregnant female shot.
Lieutenant,
How you doing? Good. So what we got?
we learned from the neighbors that the resident's name is Teresa Austin. Mid-20s. Looks like she took her around near the neck or face and possibly traveled into her chest.
What's the condition?
She couldn't talk much when we got here, but we do have an officer in the ambulance with her trying to get additional information.
All right, give me posted.
Yes, sir.
As Kenda enters Teresa Austin's home, his attention is drawn to the blood-stained floor and the telephone receiver, which is also covered in blood.
We find a gun? Not yet, but we found one 9mm casing.
Kenda follows the trail of blood into the back.
And there is a large bloodstain on the floor.
We found the victim lying there.
My opinion, looking at the scene, she's shot on the bed and either falls or rolls and winds up collapsing on the floor.
Was the door locked when you got here?
Yes, sir.
The place is undamaged. It wasn't forced entry. This is not some random crime. There's something else happening here.
Well, what's this?
There is evidence of a child. There are children's toys, small clothing. Obviously not for a newborn, but for a child that lives there.
All right, when you're talking to people, make sure you ask about kids. If you see any children, I want to make sure they're okay.
Yes, sir. A whole new question comes up now. Where are the children and who are they? Who are they with? Are they safe?
All right, let's go outside and see what the neighbors have to say.
Investigators started canvassing the neighborhood, and they were able to find a neighbor who was a good friend of Teresa.
Lieutenant? This is Christina. She's a friend of Teresa's.
How's Teresa?
She's at Penrose Hospital being treated.
Oh my god. This is horrible.
Is there a boyfriend or husband that we could contact?
Christina tells us that Teresa lives with her common-law husband, who she identifies as James Austin.
I was just with them a few hours ago down the street at the pool hall.
How are they getting along?
Fine. I mean, they seem normal.
Here it is.
Oh, no. Really? Yeah.
Baby, I mean, good luck.
I mean, not that I'm gonna do any better.
She said no angry words were exchanged. They were very much in love and laughing and joking.
Do they have any kids?
Yeah, she has 3, and she's 4 months pregnant with her next.
You know where the kids are?
I believe she dropped them off at her brother's house earlier today.
Okay, good. How about the husband? Do you know where he is?
I thought they came home together.
Christina tells Kenda that Teresa's husband James often goes by his nickname.
Christina says nobody calls him James. Everybody calls him Mookie. He's in his middle 20s. All his friends are in their middle 20s, and they may know where he is.
Can you give me the names of any of his friends?
Yeah, there's actually a couple right over there.
Christina points him out and says the one guy's name is Darius, and the other guy's name is Ota.
Okay, tell me about.
They've all been friends for a while, but I heard that Mookie and Oda got into a fight a few days ago.
What kind of fight? Did they argue?
Oh no, it definitely got physical. I heard that Mookie beat up Oda pretty bad.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Bench, they wind up shooting Teresa by mistake. Or maybe they just go after his old lady because they can't find him. There's a lot of possibilities there.
Gentlemen, I understand you're friends with Mookie?
I don't know no Mookie. You know Mookie? No.
They're the usual non-cooperative, unhelpful, it's the typical street crap that you deal with all the time.
So you guys are just hanging out here in front of this house?
Don't know.
Let's cut the boys. I'm in no mood. Someone just shot Mookie's wife.
They looked surprised when I said that.
We know him and stuff, but we haven't seen him all day.
Mind if we look in your car?
Whatever.
All right, step over here.
When I look in this car, I see dried blood on the visor. Now they're not going anywhere.
What do you want to tell me how you got blood in the car?
What? What are you talking about?
We'll cuff on these guys, put them in the car.
Are you serious? Oh, come on, ridiculous. What are you doing? Come on, man.
We hook them up and put them in the back of a police car, and we get a warrant for the car.
Man, we didn't shoot nobody.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Until then, tight, gentlemen.
Seeing the blood in that car? They could be players in this. Nobody's going anywhere until I find out. We're investigating the shooting of a 24-year-old pregnant woman, Teresa Austin. We have 2 guys who suddenly show up at this crime scene. one of whom has had violent confrontations with the victim's husband in the recent past. There's blood in his car. We're going to find out who that blood belongs to.
Let's get a sample of that blood, see if it matches our victim.
Sure.
We're not going to do a DNA test in the field. That's in the movies. But we can do a blood type. Is it type O? Is it B, type AB? They can do that.
Otad denies this alleged confrontation with Mookie ever happened, but Kenda continues to press for answers.
Is anyone ready to offer up an explanation how the blood got in the car?
That's probably from when we were slap boxing.
What's slap boxing?
Oh, to explain, that's where guys get together and they start slapping each other in the face, and who could hit who the hardest and stand it better, and one of them got in a bloody nose, and that's how the blood got there.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun.
Lieutenant, can I talk to you for a second?
What's up?
Ran a quick test on the blood in the car, compared it to the victim. It's no match, totally different types.
Alright, I guess we have no reason to hold these clowns anymore. Good cut loose.
This is the highs and lows of murder cases. You're feeling pretty good, and all of a sudden, oh no, it collapses.
You guys probably cut out the slapboxing crowd before he caused you more trouble.
So we're back to where we started.
Kenda now believes his best hope for solving the case may rest with the victim herself. He heads to Penrose Hospital, where Teresa Austin has just been wheeled out of surgery.
She survives the surgery. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to live, but it's certainly a good sign.
Excuse me, doctor?
Yes.
How's she doing?
She's still under anesthesia, but it won't be very long now. So if you want to go to the waiting room, I'll have someone come get you when she's coherent.
Okay, we'll do that.
While waiting for Teresa to recover, Kenda comes across another potential lead.
It's bad. They're not even sure Teresa's gonna live.
I'm in the patient waiting area. There's a woman on the phone. I hear her say Teresa this and Teresa that. Well, that's obviously somebody that's connected to our victim.
I love you too, honey. Okay, bye.
Excuse me, are you related to Teresa Austin?
She said, I'm her mother. My name is Ramona.
I'm Lieutenant Kenda from the Colorado Springs Police Department. I'm very sorry about what happened to your daughter.
Thank you.
I said, how kind of relationship does she have with Mookie? They get along fine?
He and Teresa have been together over 7 years. He was so happy about the pregnancy.
He's very, very good with the children. He's an excellent father.
Excuse me, Mrs. Sorens, Lieutenant. She's awake right now if you would like to see her.
She is in awful, awful condition. She is bandaged. She is bruised and swollen. She's on a respirator to assist her in breathing because her mouth is wired shut. She's not going to say a word, but she is conscious and reasonably alert.
I know you can't speak. Can you write? If you think you can write, blink twice for yes and once for no.
She blinks her eye twice. So I go to one of my guys, give me your notebook and a pen. And we provide those to her.
Take your time and tell me what happened.
She tried to write the answers as much as she could. She was in pain. She'd gone through hours of surgery.
She writes, I can remember everything. Throwing up blood, shooting out, gushing. I remember pulling my brains through I just laid there shocked for a while.
In her note, Teresa also details the bizarre behavior of her shooter.
He was holding me so it would stop bleeding, but he just sat there rocking me. I started going hysterical. He left me for half an hour bleeding. I laid there thinking he called 911. Then I crawled in the living room and killed myself.
Teresa's account of the incident is gut-wrenching, but she hasn't yet answered Kenda's most pressing question.
Teresa, tell me who did this to you.
I looked at her and I said, do you know who shot you? And she blinks twice. Well then, darling, tell me who it is. Write his name on that piece of paper. So we're investigating the shooting of this 24-year-old pregnant lady. She's out of surgery. She's unable to speak because her mouth is wired shut, but she can write. And she keeps referring in her notes to he. Who is he? Down his name. I watch her form the first letter, and the first letter is an M.
No, it can't be.
She continues to work his name and spells it out. Mookie. That's who shot her. That is who is cradling her. And that's who abandoned her to die. You read that, and you want to go find Mookie and put a gun in his mouth and pull the trigger.
Oh my God, Trace.
Okay, Ramona. Tell me where I can find him.
I don't know. Maybe at his sister's house.
What's his sister's name? What's her address?
Sheila. She lives on the other side of town.
Write down the address for me.
So she's giving us a place to start. Now we're just going to go find him and drag him into a courtroom.
Within minutes, Kenda is en route to the home of Mookie's sister, Sheila Austin.
So we go to Sheila's place, and the minute we arrive, she's not surprised we're there.
I know why you're here. Auntie's not here. He left a while ago. And he told me he shot Teresa.
She was surprisingly truthful.
Did he tell you what happened?
He said, and he shot her.
What was the fight about?
I don't know. Mookie probably thought she was looking at some guys at the bar again or something. He can get really jealous sometimes.
She says Mookie, he was overly jealous, overprotective of her, always believed she was cheating on him.
Has Mookie been violent towards her before?
Yeah, he's beaten her. One time she was hanging outside his car window, and he just drove off and dragged her. She got hurt real bad. Cut up her knees and everything.
Really? So it's gone on a long time?
Yeah, for years now.
She's no stranger to him physically abusing her. This is a domestic abuse circumstance.
Any idea where I can find him?
He talked about turning himself in, so maybe he went to go see his lawyer. I think his name was Johnson or something.
Thanks for your help.
After leaving Sheila's house, Kenda heads to the law office of Mookie's attorney, Robert Johnson.
We go over to where that lawyer's office is, and in the parking lot is the attorney, and he has Mookie by the arm.
Ah, just the people I was looking for.
Just relax, Lieutenant. I was bringing him in.
Perfect. I'll save you the gas. Chance behind your back. Did you inform James of his rights?
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can... Just so you know, I've told him not to say anything to you guys.
The attorney says he is exercising his right to remain silent. Fine. So noted. Thank you, Counselor. And we take his client off of his hands.
Although Mookie isn't talking, Kenda can make a reasonable guess as to how the crime went down.
My opinion is this. They're in this pool all with their friends. Everything's fine.
Feeling okay?
Yeah.
Another Coke for you?
Oh, thank you. Gosh, I wasn't even done with this one.
Try to anticipate needs.
Okay, thanks. Really good.
You need anything else right now? Okay. Yeah?
Good.
Do you need another beer? No? Sure. Let me know if you guys need anything.
Thanks. What?
But Mookie is jealous by nature, and he probably thinks she gives somebody a look that she shouldn't have.
You got the bathrooms here? Don't go in there. No? Yeah, no, it's, yeah, really.
You guys ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready for her to go. That's fine.
He waits until they go home out of the presence of Christina.
Why are you always looking at guys like that?
I'm not.
Teresa, do not play with me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Teresa, I don't want to hear why. You think I'm stupid, Teresa?
Stop! No, what are you doing? You're acting crazy.
Are you cheating on me again, Teresa?
No,
Are you cheating on me again?
Crazy.
The argument begins, as it always does, only this...
You're lying!
So our man shoots her during the course of this argument. Then he realizes that he's taken this incredible step.
Teresa, no.
says he just sat there rocking me.
Okay, I didn't mean to do that, I promise.
He's rocking her like that's somehow going to make all this go away. That she's going to suddenly stop bleeding. He then forms the opinion, apparently, that she's dead. And he puts her on the floor, and he walks out of the place and never looks back. She lays there, she says in her notes, for 30 minutes, expecting that he went and called 911. What he did was leave. She then crawls out of that bedroom. She's a powerful woman. She is instinctively strong as a person. She's concerned about her pregnancy. I'm going to crawl to a phone and try to live. I'm not going to lay here and die.
Ma'am, what's your emergency?
As far as I'm concerned, the matter's pretty well closed. We have him in custody. We have a workable, provable case against him. The victim is in the hands of medical. We wait and see what happens.
Last night? And the baby?
That evening, word arrived from the hospital. The news isn't good.
I see. Thank you.
Both Teresa and her baby have died.
It's always difficult when you have a surviving victim in grievous condition that you're able to communicate with. And for a moment, a brief moment in time, you think, well, maybe, just maybe, this is going to work out. And in just as quickly of a moment, it's all taken away. She dies, and the baby dies too.
For James Austin, aka Mookie, Teresa's passing means the death penalty is now squarely on the table. Unwilling to take his chances at trial, Mookie and his attorney strike a deal with prosecutors.
In the course of the court proceedings, he did plead guilty to it.
Days later, as Kenda reviews Teresa's medical report, he is struck by the irony of one image in particular.
I'm looking at the pictures of her on the table that they take before they cover the body and take it to the morgue for an autopsy. And right above her chest is a tattoo. And it says, Mookie. How nice. It's the tragic nature of this particular event. 3 kids don't have a mother. A baby never gets a chance at life. And a mother survives a mere 24 years and never sees her children grow up either.
Coming up, when the body of a man is found floating in a creek, Kenda faces one of his most puzzling cases yet.
I have a 37-year-old guy, and he is dead in Monument Creek. How did this person die? I have no idea. It's a mystery.
At the Colorado Springs Police Department, Lieutenant Joe Kenda is busy educating rookies on the finer points of securing a crime scene.
Besides preservation of evidence, limiting access is your highest priority.
We would occasionally instruct both men and women on the police department. In various phases of death investigation, their responsibilities in terms of crime scene containment and what our expectations were when they would respond to a violent crime.
No one gets in. No friends, no relatives, no press. You guys are the gatekeepers.
Excuse me, Lieutenant. We need you. We have a floater up at Monument Creek.
All right, that's it for today. We'll pick it up later.
The expression floater implies death and suspicious circumstances. You have a body that's been discovered either underwater or in the water in Monument Creek.
Navigating through the underbrush, Kenda makes his way to the edge of the creek.
Hey, Lieutenant.
Hey, Adam. So what do we got?
They point behind them, and there is a male fully dressed. His clothes are intact, his feet and everything are on the back, but his upper body is face down in the water.
Waiting on somebody from the coroner's office while we haven't moved him, but they're en route. Should be here any minute.
All right, you want to the other side? We'll check down this way.
Yes, sir.
As Kenda waits for the coroner to arrive, he searches the area for evidence.
Keep your eye out for any tire tracks, too, in case somebody dumped the body.
Yes, sir. The fact that the body was found in the creek in a kind of a remote area, been dumped at this location.
Anything? Nothing over here.
Obviously, with the creek flowing through there, there is a potential for loss of physical evidence. Water taking it, floating it downstream. So we have to be concerned about that.
Coroner's here.
How you doing? That's how they found him.
You want to see if these guys can get him out of there?
All right, guys, let's pull him out.
Officers remove the body from the creek, giving Kenda his first real look at the victim.
3, 2, 1. Over.
I see the remains of a Caucasian male, probably in his middle 30s.
All right, we're ready to lift in 3, 2, 1, lift.
Looks like he's been in there for a while.
He's almost frozen in place in the same position that it was in the water. The body's in full rigor, so it's like moving a statue in some ways.
No indication of any gunshot wounds.
We're looking for traumatic injury. Has he been stabbed? Has he been strangled? Any broken, obvious bones in the chest? You feel the rib cage. Does it feel intact?
It's like there's some head trauma.
We have a significant head injury here, but we have nothing else. So all we have to be concerned about is the injury we see to the upper right crown of his skull.
I'm going to check his pockets, see if there's any ID. Can you open it for me? Curtis Kelly, age 37. So how'd you get in here, Mr. Kelly?
While pondering that question, Kenda notices a strange group of tents just up the creek.
Did you want to come with me, go check out those tents?
There are people who reside in this creek bed, commonly known as bridge people. They drink there, they argue with each other, they fight over money.
There can be real territoriality, so you could potentially step on somebody's toes without even realizing and run into trouble with somebody who considered that territory theirs. That's not hard to imagine.
For Kenda, the presence of this homeless encampment could explain Curtis Kelly's death.
What if Mr. Kelly is wandering around in Monument Creek for whatever reason, and he runs into one of these guys, and they take him wrong somehow? And they hit him with something, then he falls in the water. Is that possible?
Is there anybody here?
Who's asking?
I'm with the police and I'd like to talk to you. What's your name?
Freddie.
Freddie who?
Just Freddie.
When you're dealing with these individuals, talking with them can be very difficult. And they have a real distrust of police.
Can we cut the one-word answers, Freddie? I've got a dead guy in the creek back there.
Yeah, I know.
He said, I saw something. I thought it was clothes, and I could always use clothes. So I walked down there, and it's not clothes. It's a dead guy.
How'd he get in the creek?
Hell if I know. I'm just trying to mind my own business.
Let me see your hands.
You're looking at him. Has he got any bruises or cuts or stuff on his hands? Has he got any blood on his clothes? That all goes in his favor. That, yeah, he's probably telling us the truth.
He tells a reasonable story as best as he can. We have no evidence against him. We have to dismiss him.
How about you two? You know anything about that? Let me see your hands. All right. Thanks. My boy Freddie doesn't know much. Let's see what medical found out.
At this point, what we have is what we refer to as a coroner's case. There's no evidence to support the crime, but it's a 37-year-old guy, and he is dead in Monument Creek and not in the hospital. So it's our job to determine how this happened. So the coroner is going to take this body to the El Paso County Morgue, and will conduct a postmortem examination and autopsy.
Let's head back to the station, do background check on this guy, see if we can find any information.
We run the name through identification records. We determine Mr. Kelly has no criminal history. We do find a heavy equipment operation company.
Must be where he works. I'll write that address down.
So we decide to go to the place of employment. And contact the manager on duty.
Good morning. How you doing? Out with the CSPD? What can I do for you? What can you tell us about one of your employees, Curtis Kelly? Is he a good worker?
He's one of my best. Wish I had more guys like him.
Is there any family?
No, he did have a girlfriend that he was really into, though.
According to the manager, Curtis had fallen hard for a girl named Ashley Cameron.
He'd fallen in love with a girl named Ashley. She, at that point, was also really, really interested in him.
He says he became kind of a different guy for a while. He was anxious to get off work because he had to go see his girlfriend.
Well, apparently things were going well there for a while, and then all of a sudden, I guess they broke up, and boom, his whole demeanor changed. And he seemed really depressed.
Hyperbole, which was not common for Curtis to do.
We're getting a little more than just a man laying in a creek bed. This man's upset about the loss of a female. My experience tells me that there's nothing more emotional than the loss of a love affair. And alcohol is a depressant. For someone who's already depressed, it's a very bad idea.
Kenda isn't sure what happened between Curtis and his girlfriend, but his gut tells him she may know something about her ex's death.
If you wind up with a dead person, the first person you want to look for is whomever they might be in love with. When love ends, people do crazy things.
Lieutenant Kenda, dispatch.
Dispatch?
I need you to give me an address for an Ashley Cameron.
It is not unusual for someone to be murdered by their friend, or their lover, or their wife, or their husband. When humans become connected by blood, by marriage, or by emotion, things can get out of control. Somebody could die as a result. We're investigating what is ultimately a mysterious death. We have a 37-year-old man partially submerged in Monument Creek. He is dead. We don't know why, we don't know how. We're trying to determine the method and manner, and we've been pursuing it from every perspective.
After speaking with co-workers of the victim, Curtis Kelly, Kenda has a sneaking suspicion Curtis's ex-girlfriend, Ashley Cameron, may have had a hand in his death. But before he speaks with Ashley, Kenda makes a pit stop at the coroner's office.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, Joe.
Any info on our guy yet?
Some of the basic stuff's in.
The first initial finding I discovered from the coroner is that he has water in his lungs. It means he was alive when he went in the water. This eliminates any consideration that he was dead by other means.
You think somebody drowned him?
Based on what I saw when we found the body, I'd say that's unlikely.
The difficulty with that scenario is there's no marks, no other sets of footprints opposing the body. There's no apparent struggle by the body. People don't submit to being drowned. They fight.
I should have some additional info in another hour or two. You want to check back?
Thank you.
The discovery of water in Curtis Kelly's lungs has Kenda thinking his death wasn't the result of a violent lover's quarrel, but he decides to pay Curtis's ex-girlfriend a visit, just to be sure.
Ashley Cameron?
Yes?
Lieutenant Kenda from the Colorado Springs.
Yeah, come in.
We inform Ashley the reason we're there is because we're investigating the yet undetermined death of Curtis Kelly. She said she cares about Curtis Kelly, but she just didn't think he'd be right for her.
We just didn't have a spark. I ended up having to break it off.
And she advised him that she was going to start dating other people.
How do you take that?
Not very well. I'm sorry, Curtis. That's just how I feel.
I don't understand.
Curtis, you didn't do anything wrong. I like you.
I can change.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out.
She said, I knew he was really upset, and I felt bad about that. But by the same token, it was time for him to move on. It was time for me to move on.
Can you tell me about your relationship with Curtis?
He was a nice guy. However, I don't think he had many girlfriends before me.
This could explain the level of his disturbance over losing her. I know more about Ashley now. I know that she's a very upstanding person, and she's not involved in this in any way, and their relationship was absolutely normal. I also know that he's been drinking heavily from his coworker, which is unusual for him. So I returned to the morgue.
Hey, Joe. Hey. So, we got anything new on Curtis Kelly?
Yeah, actually. His BAC was up there. He was hammered.
Okay. How much alcohol was in his system?
Just above .30.
Really? Wow.
Over .2, you can't hit the ground with your hat. Over .3, you're close to unconscious. Curtis was absolutely blasted. He'd been drinking for an extended period of time to get it that high. You can't really do that in a day.
You know, I'm starting to think this might have been an accident.
That's what I'm thinking, too. He's extremely intoxicated.
He is so intoxicated. At .3 and above, there's no question that he is unable to participate in an altercation. Also, he would be in a position of not having the necessary motor skills to take his own life. So, if there is no suicide, if there is no homicide, what is there? There is a stumbling drunk.
Based upon witness statements, along with the coroner's report and the evidence collected, Kenda has an idea of how events unfolded.
For whatever reason that may be never to be known, is in Monument Creek. He is a guy wandering along with a broken heart. He is lost. He is helplessly intoxicated. He trips. He falls. He hits his head. His face goes in the water. He is breathing, but instead of breathing air, he's drawing water into his lungs. He is so intoxicated, he doesn't realize he's in trouble. He doesn't understand he's drowning. He made no attempt to even lift his head. Lifting his head would have been enough. But he was so drunk he couldn't even do that. Goodbye, Mr. Kelly.
It's almost too bad that there's no way to measure brokenheartedness, because it is devastating. I mean, all you want to do is just find a way to make it better. Probably Curtis turned to the bottle to do that. It was unfortunate. Oh, God, if he'd just hung in there a little bit longer, it would have gotten better.
Mr. Kelly is suffering that deep pain of loss. His answer to this pain is alcohol. He doesn't understand that alcohol is a depressant, and all it's going to do is deepen the pain. He's not going to feel better. He's going to feel worse. But he doesn't know that. And he never has the opportunity to find it out. Your own emotions are as destructive, and perhaps more so, than a bullet, or a blade, or a bottle of poison.
As a newly minted sergeant, the pressure is on Joe Kenda to crack a seemingly impossible case.
Everyone is waiting to see how this was all going to work out now that I was the boss. At that point in my career, I'm not new at homicide, but I'm new at running one.
He basically didn't even have time to get out of bed before he was shot. That image will haunt me for the rest of my life.
And with a pair of brazen killers on the loose, the odds of solving the case are slim.
Our focus is on catching these bastards. We don't know where they went, or where they might go.
Just when all hope seems lost, Kenda hatches a daring plan.
This is your ass on the line, not mine. Yes, sir.
Nothing like that had ever been done before, and to my knowledge, nothing like that's ever been done since. The crime that upsets the public the most and draws the most attention from the press is the crime of murder. So the largest amount of pressure is reserved for me. Many people try to avoid it, but I wasn't that person. It was an adrenaline rush for me. I was always at my best when things were at their worst. There's one thing that never changes. Murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I'm Lieutenant Joe Kenda. I've solved over 387 homicides. Somebody has to take control. Somebody has to look out for the victim. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved.
A few hours before sunrise, 2 CSPD officers begin the early shift with their customary pit stop at a local diner.
So did you stay up and watch that game last night?
No, it's too late.
Whoa. Check that out. Now, one of them looks out the window and sees a young lady running across the street towards a payphone.
They are thinking, this doesn't look quite right. Something is up.
Y'all finished up?
Yes, ma'am.
Ready to check out?
Yes, ma'am.
Moments later, the officer's hunch proves correct.
Attention all units, we have a report of a shooting at 211 Morningside Drive.
Hey, that's just around the corner. Let's go.
There's 2 blocks. We'll take care of it. We're in the area.
Here, hurry!
They get there quickly, and lo and behold, they see the same woman who they just saw run.
Stay.
Right away, they see a male laying half in, half out of the bed. And there was a very large gaping wound in his neck. On ambulance.
A few miles away, Sergeant Joe Kenda is getting a jump on his morning routine.
I was shaving. I was trying to consider what I was going to do today. I would try to organize my day before my people came to work so that I had some drift of what direction we were going to take.
This is Kenda.
They said they have a report of a shooting northeast side, had several witnesses. My first thought was, well, my day just got planned for me.
Okay, I'm on the way.
For Kenda, this will be his first true test after a recent promotion to sergeant.
In 1984, I had just returned back to Homicide. Now, as a supervisor, it's an opportunity for me to show everyone that I was more than capable of running these cases. And I was very focused on getting everything right.
Morning, Bob.
Morning. So what we got?
Good at the C-Smell shooting victim.
His name is John Roger Berg. He prefers to be called Roger. He's in his early 30s.
His girlfriend's house. Melinda Derringer. Both she and Roger worked at the Candlelight Inn.
The Candlelight Inn was one of the local topless nightclubs here in Colorado Springs at the time. Melinda and Roger both worked at the Candlelight. Roger as a disc jockey.
Roger was my elder brother. We worked at the Candlelight Inn. He was very personable with everyone who was there. People were easily drawn to him because of his kind nature and his outgoing personality.
Did the girlfriend see the shooting? She was in bed next to him, and her friend Mary Jo was here as well. But they're both too upset. I couldn't get anything from them.
All right, we'll give him a moment to calm down. Where's the body?
It's in the back bedroom. Thanks.
I walk into the bedroom where the victim is. His feet are on the bed, his torso and his upper body are on the floor. The way it appears is he was either in the act of getting up or had been pulled up out of the bed before he was actually shot.
Just turn his head a little bit.
The entrance wound is midline in the upper neck at the base of the skull. The exit is lower right neck, which would indicate downward angle. Big bullets go in like a dime and come out like a cash register.
Did you find any shell casings?
No, nothing yet.
As Kenda inspects the body, he notices a brown powder burn around the entrance wound.
Would determine that this was a close shot. This was a contact wound. The muzzle of that weapon was right up against the back of the victim's neck when that gun was fired.
Whoever shot him wanted to make sure they didn't miss.
Sergeant, found this slug behind the bed.
When I see the slug, it looks like a .357 Magnum. It's not some cheap, small, semi-automatic pistol commonly carried by burglars. This is somebody that understands guns and has moved up the ladder to a large caliber.
I think it's time we had a little chat with the ladies in the living room. See what they know about all this.
I want to see if these two women are emotionally able to talk to me now. They were very distraught when I arrived.
So how are they? You don't want to Mary Jo talk?
Well, Melinda's still pretty upset. I want to try with Mary Jo first.
I want to bring her to the kitchen. I'll talk to her privately.
Yes, sir.
But before Kenda can ask Mary Jo a single question, she makes a shocking confession.
It's all my fault.
Wait, what's all your fault?
Then because of me, I let him in.
Oh, really? Well, who might him be? We're investigating the death of Roger Berg, who's been shot in his girlfriend's bedroom in a quite vicious way. And we have a companion staying in the place who now has told me that she let this person into this house and might even be involved in it.
Let's start with why you were here last night. Do you live here as well?
Melinda and I were just friends. I knew her from work. I just happened to be staying there that night because it was late.
You want to tell me what happened?
So I got off my shift and got home before Melinda. And when I got here, this guy Dave was already here.
According to Mary Jo, Dave is an on-again, off-again boyfriend of Melinda Derringer's.
Hey, Dave.
Hey. Melinda said I could...
Dave being there, I think it was just a matter of him wanting to see her. I don't recall Melinda saying anything about having a date with Dave that night.
So she and Roger weren't exclusive? They weren't boyfriend-girlfriend?
I've only started, dating, recently.
Their relationship was just developing, but she seemed happy when she was with Roger, when she talked about it.
And then what happened?
I let Dave in. We were just kind of hanging out until Melinda got back.
So, still talk to Bobby?
Oh, no. Bobby got fired 2 weeks ago.
Hey!
What's up, Melinda?
Mary Jo says that Melinda comes home, but Melinda is with Roger Berg. David appears to be shocked that Melinda is with this individual. Melinda talks with David for a few minutes. She doesn't know what they said to each other. And David leaves.
Good night.
Melinda and Roger went off to bed, and according to Mary Jo, everything seemed fine.
I was in the living room. They went into Melinda's room. It didn't seem like I had been asleep that long. When I hear a knock at the door, I looked out, saw that it was Dave. Didn't think anything of it.
Did you forget something?
Where's Melinda?
She's in the back sleeping. I hope he doesn't want to see you.
And when he closed the door, someone else came in with him that I didn't see when I first looked through. I heard voices. They were muffled through the wall, but I couldn't hear what was being said or who was saying what. Next thing I know, I heard pops. When I first heard that shot, I didn't know what had happened.
They shot Roger! They shot Roger!
walked into the bedroom. Roger was on the side of the bed. That image will haunt me for the rest of my life.
I shouldn't have let him in. It was my fault. I should have known better.
I felt that Roger got shot because I had opened the door.
And this other guy that was with Dave, do you know who he is?
No, I've never seen him before.
Can you describe him for me?
Shorter than me. A little stocky. Black hair, beard, 20s.
Thank you for your help.
So now I think we've gotten off the ground here in this case. Melinda is the source of whatever happens here. Now it's time to talk to Melinda and find out who these people are.
Mary Jo already told me a little bit about you and Roger. What about you and Dave? I'm sorry, I don't know his last name.
It's Dave Bowman. We went out a few times, but I was never into him or anything, and I told him it's off, you know?
Melinda says that she decided to break it off. David didn't want to do that.
Now, the guy that came back with Dave the second time, do you know him?
Yeah, that's Vinny. It's Dave's friend.
So his first name is Vinny, and David has the last name, and it's Bowman. We are certainly moving forward now.
And what happened the first time Dave left?
Roger and I go into the bedroom and go to sleep.
Get up.
The hell, man?
She said that Vinny has a gun in his hand, and that David Bowman says to Roger, you have 30 seconds to get out of that bed. Roger has a gun on the bedstand, although it isn't loaded. The magazine for it is there, but it's not in the weapon. As he begins to reach for that gun, Vinny advances toward Roger, puts him in a headlock, in her words, and fires his gun into his neck. They then turn and run out of the room. So now my focus is on where are they? Where is David and Vinny?
You know what kind of car Dave has, or what either of them drive?
Dave drives a red truck.
She said David Bowman drives his work truck. It's a red truck, and it has the name of the company on the door, but I don't remember what it is.
They're probably together. I mean, they're roommates, I think.
Do you know where?
Can you want the address?
Please.
This case is moving right along. We might be able to arrest them rather quickly and resolve this quickly. We immediately dispatch cars to that address to surveil it to see if they have gone home or if they are going to return there. David is in his late 20s, so he has this. Vinny is shorter than David, with dark hair and a full beard.
With the surveillance team in place, Kenda shifts his focus to a difficult task, informing Roger Berg's brother of his murder.
Sergeant Kenda gave me the details as to what happened. Of course, my breath was taken away. I was hurt, left with a very empty... with a very empty feeling inside.
He was very close to his brother. He has always been devoted to Roger and vice versa.
Roger was more of an intellectual. He wasn't into sports. He was into the music. He was into painting. He was into writing. He was a person whose life was taken just way too early.
On his way back to headquarters, Kenda gets a call from the surveillance team.
Any signs of life there?
Well, somebody's home. We can see somebody moving around inside the house.
How about the truck Melinda described?
No, there's a car in the driveway, but the truck's nowhere to be seen. Hold on. Somebody's getting into the car.
The surveillance team reports that he is tall, he is thin, he has long hair. This is probably David Bowman.
All right, go ahead and grab him. Be careful.
They follow him until he's out of view of the home. They conduct a felony stop on this car, which means guns drawn. They assume they're contacting somebody wanted for murder.
Get out of the car. Let me see your hands.
This is going to be the moment when somebody lives or dies or gets arrested. And maybe it's the moment where we have one of the two we're looking for.
Police say two men knocked on the door of apartment 15 at 4380 Morning Sun. They were let in, a fight broke out, and one of the suspects shot a 32-year-old man in the neck.
So we have come quickly forward from a man shot to death in a bedroom to knowing the first and last name of the two people responsible for this crime. We know where they live, and we have just stopped a vehicle leaving that house containing someone who matches the physical description of David Bowman, suspect number 1.
Sir, get out of the car. Let me see your hands.
Step out of the car.
What's your name?
Sean Norse.
Do you know a David Bowman?
Yeah.
In the house with those guys, but he hasn't seen them since the prior day.
Go ahead and take it back to the car.
He is still useful to us.
Did I do something?
He's not what we were hoping for, but he'll do nicely for intelligence information.
Can you tell me about David Bowman? He lives with me. He's lived with me for a while. And how about Vinny? He just moved in. Can you tell me anything else about him? His last name is Spoto. I guess they were friends in Vegas and they knew each other there. What do they do for work? What's the matter, Sean? You seem a little nervous. What's going on? Yeah, Dave had regular work, but I think they both made extra money dealing.
He says Vinny sells cocaine and David sells cocaine. He has seen him do that. Vinny carries a gun to protect himself in the drug business.
All right, Sean, well, I appreciate the cooperation. If you hear from them, let us know. They're extremely dangerous. Okay, I will.
At this point, David Lee Bowman and Vincent Joseph Spoto are fugitives from justice, and the assumption is they have fled the jurisdiction. So then the case becomes a chase.
Hey, Sarge. The witness, Melinda, that was with Roger Berg, she called, and she remembered the name of the company that was on David Bowman's truck. A1 Rental Services.
All right, great.
The manager's Richard Bowman. I guess Richard and David must be related.
All right, let's swing by and see what they have to say. Richard Bowman?
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant Kenda from the Colorado Springs Police Department. You related to David?
Yeah, he's my brother.
He describes David in general terms as the black sheep of the Bowman family.
What did he do this time?
He was involved in a murder.
A murder? Unbelievable. Let me guess. Vinny Spoto's involved too.
Richard has met Vinny. He considers Vinny to be a hardened criminal. He tells David, stop associating with him. You don't need that. Stay away from him.
Any idea where I can find him?
Not a clue. Maybe Pueblo? My parents lived there. That's where we grew up.
We believe he might have fled their company trucks.
Damn it.
Do you have the license plate number?
Sure. Let me go grab the tag.
Nice.
Because it's company owned, Richard has all the records on the vehicle, including the Colorado plate number, the VIN number.
Here's all the information.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
So it's fully identified and thus can be broadcast statewide and surrounding states as possibly containing two individuals by the throat.
Back at headquarters, Kenda gathers his team to form a plan of attack.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Les, I need you to reach out to Pueblo County, give them all the truck information, make sure they get the pictures. Ellen, stay in touch with Las Vegas. These guys already have a leg up on us, so we need to catch up now.
When people run, they run to predictable places. They run to where they can get help, where they can get money, where they can get hidden, where they can feel comfortable.
By the following morning, Kenda's decision to reach out to authorities in David Bowman's hometown of Pueblo has paid off.
411 dispatch, I think we got that red truck over here at Executive Van.
LAPD force entry into the room, expecting to find these people in bed or in the room, and no one's in the room. It's empty.
I'll take a look through some of this stuff if you want to check the bathroom.
They find a few clothing receipts and a half-eaten pizza and a few other things. They collect all of that as evidence.
Hey, Doug, come look at this.
What's up? Damn it.
They look in the sink and they see something in there that is significant that's going to make this job even more difficult than it was to start with. We're on the search for David Bowman and Vincent Spoto for the murder of Roger Berg. We are involving every agency we can think of because now we truly don't know where they are. So they're in the system everywhere as wanted for murder.
Not 50 miles south of Colorado Springs, Pueblo police have spotted David Bowman's truck in a motel parking lot.
Go to the bathroom and look around. There's no people in the bathroom, of course. These people are not in this room, anywhere in this room.
Hey, Doug, come look at this.
What's up?
Now, you're not going to believe this. Look at the sink.
Damn it.
They've seen hair, most likely facial hair because it's coarse. Now, both these individuals wear beards. They're smart enough to alter their appearance. We also have the problem of them abandoning our best lead to them, which is the truck. This is going to make this a lot more challenging.
For Kenda, this development adds to the already mounting pressure he's feeling as a newly minted sergeant.
Should we make composites?
No, sure. What do you think, Sergeant?
Couldn't hurt.
I'm still new at supervising. I'm not new at homicide, but I'm new at running one.
Kenda, come here. Yes, sir? What do you think? Catch these guys or not? Well, I have everything under control, sir. I'm confident we'll bring them in. All right. Keep me posted. Yes, sir.
So I have a captain who is confident in me, but he's also legitimately nervous. He wants this to resolve, and he wants it to do so quickly.
Feeling the heat, Kenda turns to the one person he believes can help him locate the suspects. David Bowman's mother.
His mother has a relationship with him, most likely. I'm thinking Mom would be an excellent place to begin. I go see Mom in Pueblo, and I talk to her like a Dutch uncle.
Do you know where David is?
I don't know where he is. I really don't.
I believe you. But I also believe he intends to reach out to you.
He's going to call you because he has to. He doesn't know where to turn, and he doesn't know what to do.
I mean, he's wanted for first-degree murder. Police all over the country are looking for him right now. They consider him armed and dangerous. Here's my card. You can call me Collect.
I said you're going to hear from him. Would you tell him what I said? And would you advise him as a mother would do? And that'll be enough for me. Goodbye, Mrs. Bowman. And I walked out.
Kenda is hopeful David Bowman will heed his mother's advice.
Detectives. Operator for Kenda.
I have a long-distance collect call from a David Bowman.
This is Kenda. Yes, put him through.
Oh, honey. I will accept the charges. Absolutely. Put him on the phone.
Sergeant Kenda?
Yes, David?
My mom said you wanted to talk to me.
He's calling me. Mom worked. Mom worked.
Being on the run, especially on that kind of run, you just feel like a hunted animal. You know, where they had us being armed and extremely dangerous.
But he gets on the phone. He's very emotional.
We didn't do anything, Sergeant Kenda. It was self-defense. He was going to shoot us. I was gun as proof.
Who was going to shoot you?
Roger. The guy in bed with Melinda.
I wanted to contact the Colorado Springs police, like Joe Kenda, and one of the first things I wanted to do was let them know that Melinda was not telling the truth. It was all over the news. Melinda's account of what happened.
Berg was with a 19-year-old Melinda Derringer who lived in the apartment. Men drove away in a red Ford pickup licensed to A1 Rentals. Police aren't sure of a motive, but jealousy is a possibility since one of the suspects is a former boyfriend of Miss Derringer.
And I was shocked how it was being told on television. That wasn't what happened.
Dave, you need to turn yourself in. Where are you?
I'm in Vegas.
But as the conversation continues to unfold, Kenda begins to question if David is truly calling from Sin City.
I hear a noise in the background that I recognize. It's a subway train. They don't have a subway in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's in New York, and he's on a payphone. Finally, he admits where he is.
After we got to New York, the pressure became a lot less. I mean, we actually felt like we could breathe and think and relax and then talk to the police and give them our side of the story.
I want to help you.
Listen, Sergeant, I gotta go. I'll call you tomorrow.
Wait, David. David.
So what are we going to do now?
We're going to wait. Talk to him. Convince him to come in. That's what we're going to do.
Over the next few days, I have multiple phone calls with David, and my intent is to establish a relationship.
So where's Vinny? Is he with you?
No, I don't know where yet. He might be with his family.
So now David is alone and afraid in New York City. And the only person he can talk to other than his mother is me. I think maybe I could get him to come back to Colorado.
David, I want you to fly back and turn yourself in. The department will pay for your ticket. And I'll personally be there waiting for you to make sure nothing happens.
Okay. But you understand, it was self-defense. I have Roger's gun with his prints on it to prove it.
The main thing was to let them know that there was another gun involved and that this was not an execution, that this was a self-defense situation.
He is still obsessing about the gun he put
the airport.
You're going to be there, right?
I'll be waiting for you.
Okay.
He's coming home.
Kenda is confident his plan will work, but his boss has doubts.
Right. Yes, sir. You want to see me, sir?
On this Bowman thing, let me see if I've got this right. You expect this guy just to get on a plane, come in here, and just turn himself in to us?
Yes, sir, that's the plan.
That's never going to work.
I believe it will, sir.
My captain is having an aneurysm. He can't believe I'm talking to this guy, but I'm still able to control this. And as long as I am, I'm going to continue to do so.
All right. Look, when this thing goes bad, this is your ass on the line, not mine.
Yes, sir.
The following evening, my captain accompanies me to the Denver airport because he remains convinced this plan is insane and it's not going to work. The aircraft arrives. It is a huge airplane. There are 300 people on this flight. We are watching everyone get off, and David Bowman is not among them.
So where now is he, Kenda?
My captain is looking at me in a certain way. He doesn't have to say it, that I'm about to no longer be a supervisor in homicide. After a number of phone calls over a period of several days, I believe I have convinced David Bowman to return to Colorado at my expense so he can be arrested. No one believes this is going to happen except me, but I believe that it is. My captain is with me. His purpose in coming along is to gloat and take action when the plan fails because, in his opinion, the plan is doomed.
He's not coming. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's give him a minute.
We're standing here. When I see a guy, I love New York. And it's David. Tall, skinny guy with a frightened look on his face, beard or no beard. It was obvious to me it was him.
David?
You Sergeant Kenda?
Come here.
I waited till everybody got off the plane so everybody'd be gone just to avoid any, drama.
Really, David Bowman?
My captain is absolutely shocked that this plan has worked perfectly.
This way.
We walked off to the security office. They Mirandized me and asked me if I wanted to make a statement or if I wanted to wait until I saw my attorney, and I said, no, I'll make a statement. And I made a 32-page statement.
Let's start from the beginning. How did you end up at Melinda's house the night of the murder?
She invited me. Simple as that. Saw her at the club. She said to just go over to her place and wait for her till she got off.
And what happened?
So I'm over there waiting for her. And then she shows up with Roger. She just apologizes and makes some excuse, but ultimately I just left.
I got in the truck and I drove back to the house. And as I drove back, I became more angry and I was trying to figure out what I should do.
When I got to the house, Vinny was there. What are you doing back? I thought you were in Melinda's.
I proceeded to tell him what had taken place.
I plan on going back over there and just making her choose, man. Me or him. Yeah, you should go back. Look, I'll go with you. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Whoa, what's that, man? It's a gun.
And I said, no, dude, I don't want you to do it. But we kind of went back and forth, and finally I agreed, okay. You come with, and you bring the gun.
I'm going to use it. You promise? Yeah. Just for backup. Let's go.
And what happened?
Well, me and him head back to Melinda. Get up. Vinny and I go into the bedroom, and I turn on the light.
I looked at him, and I said, hey, you and I have something to discuss. And he kind of, looked at me and he says, you pick a better time. And he lays his head back down. And I kind of laughed.
How about you put your pants on, get out of bed?
Why don't you get the out of here? Why shut the up?
Whoa!
And that's when he started to reach back to the headboard of the bed. On the flip end, grabbed Roger and jammed that .357 to his temple very aggressively and told him, chill out, I got you, drop your gun. And he immediately tried to turn his gun on Vince, and the gun slid from his temple to his neck, and then the gun discharged. I knew right away that he was dead. It's just something you'll never forget. It's ingrained into your soul. Melinda was hysterical, just screaming. All hell had broken loose.
Let's get the hell out of here!
Vince reached over, grabbed Roger's gun.
So Vinny's gun. Where is it? Does he have it?
No, we dished it when we were driving.
I gotta tell you, Dave, not everything you're saying makes sense.
But I told him, Melinda says there was no arrangement for you to be there. He says she's lying about that. I further say to him, so you and Vinny, who are armed, show up in this apartment, uninvited, throw on a bedroom light, and confront these people in bed, but yet you're acting in your own defense. Is that what you're telling me?
He was gonna shoot us. You have his gun as proof.
Roger's gun is meaningless. The gun is in response of Roger engaging in self-defense, not Vinny and not David Bowman.
I think I've heard enough, David. What do you think, Ken?
Sergeant, I think you've got your man.
We finally finished with this because there's no point in continuing, and I announced to him that he's under arrest for first-degree murder. And he winds up going to the El Paso County Jail.
Once I came back and they got my side of the story, I didn't think they were going to formally charge us.
Back at the station, Kenda receives an enthusiastic reception from his team.
Way to go, Sarge.
When I got back there and I had David Bowman by the arm, they broke into a round of applause. So they were quite amazed that this actually worked. That moment produced the remainder of my career as a supervisor in Homicide. All of a sudden, I wasn't the new supervisor, I was the boss.
Place.
Vincent Spoto was finally arrested in New York City by the NYPD. He was extradited back to Colorado. He was tried and convicted of second-degree murder and received 17 years in prison.
As for David Bowman, he pleads guilty to the lesser charge of accessory to murder and receives an 8-year sentence.
I want to state for the record, as I've always said, I had absolutely no intention of killing anyone. I don't want to see anybody lose their life for something like that.
I think that David Bowman's jealousy overtook his sense of the right and the wrong of what he was really doing. They took something away that will never come back. You never deal with death easily. It's hard to think of a future without somebody in your life. And pretty much the innocence was taken away.
There is a stone in the pond effect with murder. The ripples never end. Roger Berg had a future. He's loved and missed by everyone. All these people get affected. Over what? Over a slight? Over an insult? Over a relationship that never really became a relationship? Over nothing. Over nothing at all.
人我操！哎，真不，我说这不是一个级别的，那个，哎，这200不算贵，比北京那便宜。哎，我跟北京跳那个，就刚才你们看那视频，那是一个小湖，你知道吧？那个小湖，你感觉吧，反正也挺吓人。我操，这他妈面对整个大海，从他妈那往下跳，远处，哎呦，我操，那制空感，妈吓死个人呀！ 吓死个人呀！这主观体验是什么？哦，玩3D 啊！哦，这是玩3D 的，穿越瞬间发生。没。 有喝的吗？来一瓶喝的。有屋子这有风。
帅哥来杯奶茶吧。
哎呦，特别的，特别的。我也看。 不吃了。我这美食肚子，我得留晚上吃。我得留晚上看电用。我觉得咱不能吃这个，是不是？咱们来了，要不就吃外头的，不能把肚子浪费在这上。王哥游泳，这起码 跳，哎，我跳过，哎，跳过。火箭蹦极，你别火箭蹦极我也不蹦。上回那蹦是祥云哥刷了那个6个超火，4个超火，不是几个也忘了，反正是3、4个大超火我才上去的，那玩的命了那是。现在不跳了，现在他妈是要命的，要命。那会儿年轻还行，那会儿我才39岁，现在都40了，不行了。那会儿我30多岁还能干这事儿，现在40多了干不了这事儿了。这已经被废弃了，看来都没人用了。还真是100万热度。你看那岛也没多大，感觉确实没多大，都是个人工岛。那就是个人工岛，就是个人工岛。啊，这上面都是游乐是他呀弄了一个人工岛，然后呢就拿一些人为玩的玩意儿建造下来了，不是什么自然风景区，这是一个人工岛，应该是啊，这建了一个人工岛，没有什么这小孩玩的，一小游乐场，主要就是这个索道。我跟你说，就是这索道赚钱，这东西基本我都没人玩，基本是没人玩。